Phoenix Rising again. Akello off towards Cabral, right down Broadway, leaves it off towards Margarita in the 18. Juro Margarita cutting back. Margarita shot curling. It's in!
On his hip, Darius Johnson dancing. Can the Grenada National make something happen? DJ dancing with Sunstrom, trying to find across to the box, finds the far post. It's headed in! Colin Smith!
And here come Phoenix 3-on-1, 72nd minute. Wide for Charlie Dennis in the area. Charlie Dennis! And this club will return. I'm certain of that. It will return with a vengeance, as one does when you're a Phoenix. You have to burn before you rise. And so, a trip to Texas once again for Phoenix Rising, and a postseason berth for Phoenix in 2025. On the Phoenix Rising Radio Network, I'm Ryan Sikora for this pregame warm-up show tonight on KDUS AM 1060. Kevin Cardez, Mahir Sinhasan will join us in a moment. It's the third consecutive year, Kevin, for Phoenix Rising on the road, and they get to do it in El Paso, which has been the site of some crazy and chaotic matches in the 2025 regular season. But now the mentality shifts. The tides turn for these two teams looking to take a step towards a trophy at the end of the month. Kevin, a real opportunity for Phoenix Rising to stamp their name in this first round tonight.
Well, we talked about it a lot, Ryan. We've seen a 2-2 draw, we've seen a 3-3 draw, we've seen a 4-4 draw. So we're either due for a 1-1 draw or a 5-5 draw. Nonetheless, we've seen three absolute barn burner competitions. One, the Jägermeister Cup, that was ending in a penalty shootout, which Phoenix did end up winning, but at the end of it all, 3 straight draws between these two teams in 2025. No clue what to expect from the final score in this one, only knowing that truly this is going to be a game to remember and a chance for Phoenix Rising to get off on the right foot. Unlike last year, this is their chance to start their rise to the top.
It's a moment for Phoenix to really think about. This was the same stage that Rising saw themselves crash out a year ago on the road in Albuquerque against the Derby del Camino. Other side, New Mexico United. Phoenix led in that match in the second half, and now will look to do better here this year and continue to build on what has been a hot run of form for Rising. Only one loss in its last 11 matches.
It's funny, we talked to Brandon McCarthy, which they'll hear from later, in the fact that Phoenix didn't know how to win in the early goings of the season. That's how Paul Maduka said they didn't know how to reward themselves or how to win. That's what it felt like, and every time we go back to these games, or going back to New Mexico specifically, the bodies on the pitch, the holdovers from that playoff loss. You think about Pop Marboy, who's the captain tonight. There are people who lost that game and felt that loss very severely when they lost to United. Not only was it the Derby del Camino, but they watched their campaign fall apart in the first round. They didn't want to replicate that, especially coming off of a title in 2023. Now, a chance in 2025. The expectations going into this one were not one of defending a title or trying to lift a second trophy in a row. It was get back on the good side, get back in good graces, and find a way to carve out an identity. There's a chance tonight to put in an identity-defining win that would start perhaps a chain reaction similar to 2023.
Kevin, to your point, we've seen a mentality for Phoenix Rising all season long, but recently we've seen it come to fruition on the pitch, and tonight in the first playoff match of the year for Phoenix Rising, we get to see game 37 across the totality of the season, and for the first time, Phoenix Rising start the same exact starting 11 in a match this season. It's a 3-4-3, which has become the shape for Phoenix over the course of the last month or so. Patrick Rakowski starts in goal. Pop Marboy, Rafael Shihas, Carl Saint are the center backs. The wing backs, Ryan Flood and Asel Asenge, filling in for the injured Colin Smith and Daniel Flores. A midfield double pivot of Jean-Eric Morsu and JP Skeers. Front three, Darius Johnson, Charlie Dennis, Hope Avayevu playing as more of a false nine. Jean-Eric Morsu is the reason, Kevin, that this shape works. Last week against Pittsburgh in the 0-0 draw, he was spectacular. 12 recoveries, 4 interceptions, 5 of 5 aerial duels. Those numbers led the Phoenix team.
And the most underlying, underrated, untalked about piece of Jean-Eric Morsu is the fact that he is the reason in which Phoenix can play with a two-man midfield. Previously, that was not possible. They had to play in the patented 4-3-3 that Paul Maduka became so accustomed to showing Phoenix Rising fans. Then Jean-Eric Morsu comes into the fray. And that's a huge turning point because then him and JP Skiers building off a two-man midfield, that block has changed this team's life in many ways. Going back just to the start of the run-in, but particularly these last 3 games, it has started and it has ended with Jean-Eric Morceau. He is the most important player on the pitch when it comes to how they've changed over the last month, and he'll dictate the pitch tonight.
Phoenix Rising are the 5 seed in the West. The first time in 3 years Phoenix has finished in the top 5. That means they get to take on the number 4 team in the Western Conference, El Paso Locomotive, led by Wilmer Cabrera. It is a real opportunity, the 4th meeting between these 2 teams this year in El Paso. The lineup for Locomotive reads as follows for Wilmer Cabrera. It is a surprise in goal with Sebastian Moramora in net in this 4-4-2 diamond midfield. It is a back 4 that is Alvaro Quezada, Kofi Chumazi. Tony Alfaro keeps his place. He was plucked at halftime in a 5-2 defeat last week to San Antonio. Ricky Ruiz off the left, Frank DeRoma, Robert Coronado, Gabby Torres, Armando Moreno, Eric Calvillo, Wilmer Cabrera Jr., the coach's kid. Some question marks on who the false 9 will be up front. Will it be Calvillo? Will it be Wilmer Cabrera Jr. in off the right, Kevin? But it doesn't really matter. Gabby Torres, a former Phoenix Rising man, has been the star of the show. 3 games, 3 goals this year against Phoenix.
And who else but Gabby Torres? When he left Phoenix after last season, he was an underrated stalwart of the team. He didn't start every game, but he played in nearly every single competition that Phoenix threw out that way. And he was so important to the continuity of that team. There were ups and there were lots of downs in 2024, but Gabby Torres put in a shift every time that he was on the pitch. This time, he puts in shifts against Phoenix Rising. 3 goals, like you mentioned, and an assist in 3 competitions against them in 2025. He has been a killer when it comes to playing Phoenix Rising, and he has been dangerous. The way that he floats from end to end, the way that he floats laterally, he's left, he's right, he's always pushing forward, but he's never in the same place from possession to possession. He is hard to contain, he is hard to stop, and Phoenix has had no answer in terms of stopping him in 2025.
Matches that have read 2-2, 3-3, and 4-4. Gabby Torres, the only player to score in all of them. And with that, we bring in the 3rd member of our team, Mahir Sinhasan, who's down pitch side here at Southwest University Park. Mahir, same starting 11 for the first time all year. We won't bury the lead for Phoenix Rising.
Yeah, and that's pretty good for Amadou Ka's side that's really struggled in trying to get some sort of continuity, specifically in the back line. Potmar Boy mentioned it earlier this week that he, Rafa Shihas, and Carl Sain have really helped each other to manage the game, being on the same page. That was really a focal point of his message to his team going forward into a key matchup like that. But when you take a look at this Phoenix Rising side, so many players brought in, so many players dealt out. This gives you some sort of community and, more importantly, some confidence going into tonight.
And for El Paso, it's kind of 2 teams that are very different last year. El Paso a little more similar than Phoenix Rising, but a jump up from 12th last year, dead last in the Western Conference, to a home playoff game in 2025. Man.
And Eric Calvillo said it best, Ryan, that there was a sense of frustration after that season in 2024. And the players that stayed here in West Texas going into a game like this, they understood the ramifications of getting back to the playoffs, and they understood the type of confidence they need to get towards this level and be in a position like this. Calvillo had a great quote too about this situation, saying, quote, "We're not going to get more opportunities like this in a season like we had this year, and it's going to show tonight."
Well, it's a first home game in the postseason for El Paso since 2021. We'll hear from you a little later on as the game kicks off. Here from Southwest University Park in downtown El Paso. Amongst the tall buildings of this West Texas city, Phoenix travels 6.5 hours east, looking to win a playoff game and looking to replicate the star-struck run from 2023. The first leg of a potential 4-leg postseason on the line for Phoenix. We'll count down to kickoff as we come back with Brandon McCarthy joining us here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
This is Chukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
And now it's time to get you ready for the match with the Phoenix Rising pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Welcome back to the Rising Radio pregame warm-up here live on location in El Paso, Texas. Phoenix Rising in the postseason for another year, the third straight year on the road to start for Phoenix Rising. And the sporting director, Brandon McCarthy, joins us here live from Southwest University Park. Brandon, a long season, as they all are at this point in time. You get this far. It's a sign of the work your team has done, put together, but also how they've fought and clawed, as Pod just talked about.
Fought and clawed is the best way to put it. This year has been just really, really difficult on a million fronts, and you can see that especially by the names of the guys that are home right now, and they're not here. It's we've had injury after injury after injury. It's just this never-ending stream, and this group has really, really done a great job of kind of fighting through it. The coaching staff has been fantastic. That it feels like every day the trainer comes in to let you know so-and-so's out, and they just go, okay, who's next? And we've played young kids. We've played, we've gone through every situation, and to get here is still something I'm really proud of. We always want to finish top 4 and be playing this match at home, but to even get as close as we did with the season we've had, I think is a good building block. But it has been a scratch and claw situation for sure.
At the start of the season, the sort of main theme question was, what would this team's identity be? Who would they become on the field, off the field? What do you think has taken shape over the last 8 months?
Even that is probably 3 different iterations of this team. Obviously, that the first time we came here, that was a complete just a mess. You know, 4-4 and it's up and back and all over, and then you see it even through the first 4-ish months of the season. It was, we were a team that could hurt you and then kill ourselves, and then other teams could hurt us. You really didn't know minute to minute what was going to happen, and we saw that kind of level out here the last 6 weeks. And I think Rafa's helped that a lot. It's just having someone in the back who just calm down, you come, you go. Just communication has really, really helped. But I think guys have also found a little sense of identity, as knowing they can score, knowing they can do things. Defensively, we've shored some things up, and it doesn't feel like, I don't think they're out there thinking, well, we're going to concede right away. It's like we can sit on something now.
Talking with Brandon McCarthy here live on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. You just mentioned some of the players you brought in over the course of this season. Rafa Sihas kind of stabilizing the team at the back. It felt like, and we talked about this, Kevin, on the car ride down, the mentality was always there for this team, the hard work, the fight. But now you're starting to see over the last month, maybe on the tactical side, that carry over with this change to the more gritty, hard-nosed back three. Are you kind of seeing the same thing?
I think the same. Know how to win yet. Paul and I would talk right after a match, and he'd just be frustrated. You're like, we just don't know how to win yet. And then his constant line was, we don't know how to reward ourselves. And he would try to tell them, reward yourselves. And we just didn't have that going yet, right? We could be 2-3-0 up, and just as quick, it's 2-2, 3-3. They didn't have that sense of, all right, we know how to control, and now we've seen that kind of take hold. We're not playing with panic. We're playing with more leadership, more calm. It's definitely taken hold, which has been welcome, and we'll see kind of how that plays out here in the playoffs, but you definitely feel better about it.
Was there a game in specific where you saw that sort of shift after? Because we think back to Detroit when there was that 5-minute stretch that we all think about, the 3 goals, and they all came so fast. Then after that, something sort of flipped, and it felt like things started to fall the right way.
Yeah, you started to see signs of it, but I really don't think we got to this place until North Carolina. North Carolina, it just felt more calm, composed. We get a lead, we get 2-0, and then it was like, do we start to see this again? And we just saw the game out, measured, and we've kind of continued doing that since. Even last week, we weren't great last week. We weren't going really after it, but also we weren't getting hurt consistently. So we're seeing these pieces come together where, I don't think this will be 4-4 tonight, but so far, based on all of our matches with El Paso this year, crazy just kind of keeps ramping up.
Last week, prominently, Daniel Flores and Colin Smith both missed. They were the key pieces of becoming those wingbacks when the shape change came over. They'll be missing tonight as well. What was worked on during the week or talked about to maybe make what happened last week less prominent?
You're just going to struggle when you're losing those two guys. I mean, since Danny's come in, he's been one of the most important players we've had. He's really been fantastic, and Colin all season long has been fantastic. So you lose something a little bit going forward, and obviously you see Rafa out there. Rafa's a natural center back. It's tougher to be an up and back wing back and be creative in the final third. And Flood can do that in the final third, and he has the lungs to do it all. So you're going to see changes. I don't know, specifically how you address it. You kind of see how the week unfolds, the match unfolds, but the coaches have certainly worked on it. You just kind of work with the players and let them know here's what's expected, here's what's needed, go execute.
Brandon, do the changes we've seen over the last 3 weeks significantly impact this matchup, specifically with how many goals we've seen shelled on both sides, 18 combined in the 3 matches?
I certainly hope so. I just don't think you can have chaotic playoff games.
We're due for a 5-5, come on.
I know, at this point now it could just ramp up. You hope this isn't 0-0 going in the 120th, but you hope you're just able to inject control into games, and that it has not been a hallmark of our games against them yet so far. For either team, really, there's been no periods where this game is completely settled and done. It's just we just ramp up to crazy. It's 2 crazy people going out. I don't think that will be the case tonight. I hope that our form in the last month helps kind of steal us, so we're more prepared to take care of this, but. Again, you just never know with these 2 teams in front of you.
And then dealing with that left side specifically, we talked about it a little bit earlier on in the pregame show. Gabby Torres, Armando Moreno, Ricky Ruiz have been very effective against Phoenix over the course of this season, and with that kind of makeshift right side with Asenge out of position. What's the big idea and their hope for that side here tonight?
Don't let them hurt us.
There you go.
I love Gabby to death, and I'm tired of watching him score against us and score against them to help them in positions even when we're not playing them. Would love to see him just quiet for 90 minutes tonight or 120 minutes, but there's certain points in the game where we're going to have to control, and they're going to have the initiative, and just kind of avoid those moments and hold strong and wait till you kind of get your chances back. But limiting them will be a huge priority.
Sure.
this game, if it goes all the way through 120 minutes, will end in penalties. I mean, you've talked about the crazy up and downs you guys have felt, how it felt to not know how to win. But one thing that has stood out so far this season, that you guys are 3 for 3 in penalty shootouts, something you guys have done very, very well. What has happened at the spot with this team where all the calamity that comes before kind of goes away and they're just automatic from the spot?
I don't know. Pat's been fantastic. I mean, I think that helps a lot. If you have a keeper who you can trust in those moments, like, that's going to play massively. We have a lot of good attacking players. We've got a lot of just good players. Like, they can finish their chances, but again, not being a soccer player myself for very long, like, I don't know what penalty kicks are like, and I think it's just it's down to random chance. But our guys, for some reason, even when it was chaotic earlier this year, they just didn't quit. They didn't stop. And even when you thought, well, this team's broken, all of a sudden they just roll right back. And so I think penalties are kind of a reflection of that.
The thing that maybe strikes me with this group in terms of penalty taking is there's a lot of good ball strikers in this Phoenix. Even Ryan Flood, who's not the most attacking player, has a magical left foot. You've talked about it earlier this year.
He can hit a ball that would fit in the Premier League. I mean, I think, was it 3 years ago,
the
2022, when he hit the ball, I mean, just absolutely took the net off the board. Like, there's some people who really are just good technical players who can hit a ball and strike it. I really ultimately don't care how you get it. You can roll it in, put it in, get it in.
Another player I'd like to single in on here with you, and Kevin brought him up a little bit earlier. I'd like to think Kevin's a smart kid. Jean-Eric Morceau, who arrived in the middle of the year and feels kind of like the key piece in this change to the 3-4-3. He's allowed you guys athletically to play with a two-man midfield. He's been a big surprise, I think, on our end.
He was someone we were really excited about. We knew early in the season we just were lacking that sitting six profile, someone who could sit in front of you at that point in the back four. Some of the profiles turned out a little different than we thought, and so that's what we were really working for this summer. Is we need someone who could execute in those spaces, but even on the ball, he's been a real surprise. Like, been fantastic. His energy, his positivity as a kid, he's been incredible. He's been a great shot for the group, but like you said, it allows us to play kind of a double pivot there. Allows JP to go find the game in other areas. John's been fantastic. I expect that to continue.
Kevin and I have had a ton of dialogue in terms of the off-air conversation and some on-air conversation about where this project is going. This is just the first year under this manager. The last time you had this opportunity, Ron left right before the start of the season, going through a loop in where you guys wanted to take it. It doesn't seem like that's the direction it's going right now with Pa, in terms of he's going to jump ship in the middle of this project here. What's it look like next year in your mind, going forward, building on this season for Phoenix Rising?
We have a lot of this team coming back next year. I mean, there's a good chunk of them on multi-year contracts, and then most of them are slotted to come back. So you always look to just, okay, what were the deficiencies this year? Where do we strengthen them? Who are guys that, like, they have prominent roles, don't have, like, you're just always looking to add on. We do like the idea of being young and upcoming, and guys that can play above their age. John is 20, and you drop him in here. Like, I mean, when he was 18, he got off a plane from Cameroon, and they threw him in. 3 days later, they threw him into a League 2 match in France. So, like, he's played at a high level. You can trust these kids to take big roles. We'd like to continue that integration with the academy as well. There's some really promising players coming through there. I'm really excited about this. Like, I hope this year ends fantastically. You hope there, but this has been a project that it's just month after month, you're just looking to add pieces on. They'll be the same as us.
Really quickly on the academy, you go on Twitter, you look at US Youth national team spaces and things like that. There's a couple of Phoenix Rising names that are there every week. I'm sure this club is hoping to keep. Kevin, you got anything?
Next year it has been intriguing from the start because we've looked at this one as sort of a project, right? And that's sort of what the USL has moved towards, right? Everybody, not everybody, but most teams are now looking at ways where you can become sustainable.
Sure.
And I think that's sort of the buzzword, right? Sustainable. How can you stick around, but how can you maintain and replicate success? Is that sort of the chase now for Phoenix Rising?
Yeah, like I never hesitate to give Louisville all the credit in the world. Like they've maintained the project and had guys in for 5-6 years. Like we are attracted to the idea of younger players coming here and using us to move on. We want to see players go up and not get trapped here, but you want to have a consistency, a brand, and just a way of playing. We kind of started to build that with Warren. Like we kind of arrived at the end destination faster than we thought, but you're still looking to do that now. It's to build and build and build to where you're back to that place of when you walk in our building, you know the standards, you know what it takes. The older group helps bring through the younger group, and then eventually that younger group becomes your older, and it feeds through. So just really getting to sustainability and adding on top is the most important thing.
And what does a home playoff game potentially next year do for that? Because we've always talked about the home playoff chase. Where does that game slide in? Because everybody wants to see that moment. Is that sort of the crown jewel as to we made the playoffs the last 2 years, and then finally we get that home berth at 38th in Washington?
This year, I mean, just even last weekend, like that was, I took that really hard emotionally. You're just like, we're also going to Pittsburgh away. It's the hardest place to go in this league by far. Like, you couldn't have picked a worse game for that in that situation, but it's just being able to play at home in front of your fans. Like they deserve it. We want to be there. It's such an important thing for us, and to get that close is frustrating, but there's still a whole playoff run to go here. Like you see right now, Louisville's down. Like there's upsets can happen really, really, really quickly, and hopefully we get that match. But going forward, top four that's the standard. It's where we want to be, and we talk about it internally all the time. We do not care about just getting in the playoffs. It doesn't matter. It's to go in the place that we want to go in.
There's a chance to be there next week if
100%.
Colorado Springs can pull the upset on FC Tulsa tonight in the USL Championship postseason. Kickoff between Phoenix Rising and El Paso Locomotive quickly approaching here from Southwest University Park on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. We'll come back. We'll tease the match. Kevin will give his keys to the game right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Suzuchuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th in Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
You're listening to the pregame warm-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Back here on the Phoenix Rising pregame warm-up show. Kickoff coming in here from Southwest University Park as the players take their trek onto the pitch in El Paso. The final segment of our pregame warm-up show here live on location. Ryan Segura, Kevin Cardez. Kev, keys to the game in this one.
Yeah, Phoenix needs to grow into this game and find that stability that Brandon McCarthy just talked to us about, how they found it over the last month and change. They have found ways to win games. They have found ways to grow into games, but they found ways to be smooth operators and to control the match on their terms. That's what they need to do. This is a playoff scenario. This is a playoff game. Find your comfort, grow into the game, and then take it and make it yours.
A major mentality shift for both of these teams, and for El Paso Locomotive, the free-flowing left side has had so much success against Phoenix over the course of this season. Same story tonight if they want to win?
Absolutely, and here's the deal. El Paso needs to make their priority picking on a very thin wing-back group for Phoenix. They have had so much success scoring through guys like Gabby Torres and Amando Moreno. Find the pain points for Phoenix tonight. That's your left wing-back and your right wing-back. They do not have Colin Smith. They don't have Daniel Flores. Find a way to make that their biggest issue from minute 1 to minute 90, and El Paso Locomotive will have a chance.
Kickoff coming up here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network, a postseason match between Phoenix and El Paso. We'll have kickoff when we come back right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Zuzuchukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Let's get into the action. Phoenix Rising Soccer, live now on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Comes Rising again. Akello off towards Cabral, right down Broadway. Leaves it off towards Margarita. In the 18, Juro Margarita cutting back. Margarita shot curling. It's in!
On his hip, Darius Johnson dancing. Can the Grenada National make something happen? DJ dancing with Sunstrom, trying to find a cross to the box, finds the far post. It's headed in! Colin Smith!
And here come Phoenix 3-on-1, 72nd minute. Wide for Charlie Dennis in the area. Charlie Dennis! And this club will return. I'm certain of that. It will return with a vengeance, as one does when you're a Phoenix. You have to burn before you rise. And it is back in the postseason. A game on November 1st, typically signaled to the end of an often prickly and sometimes even haunting month of October and the start of the months of giving. But for teams still alive in the USL Championship, it represents the spookiest section of the season, the USL Championship playoffs. And tonight for Phoenix Rising, a familiar foe. For the 4th time this year, a matchup against El Paso Locomotive. And a 3rd trip to Southwest University Park, where we bring you the sounds and the song of the beautiful game on Phoenix Rising's very own audio service. Ryan Sakura, Kevin Carnez on location up in the gantry in downtown El Paso. 3rd member of our team is Mahir Sinhasan. Mahir, we will get to you first in this one as kickoff comes along in just 45 seconds. 2 teams in very different spots in November as they were in March.
Yeah, most certainly, Ryan. Both teams have seen a lot of growth to get to this top 5 spot in the Western Conference. We'll start with Phoenix first, staying in the moment under head coach Mamadou Ka, who is very proud of his team's accomplishments this season, saying, quote, their character, their will, their desire to fight for one another and stand up for one another is remarkable. Captain Pop Marboy added, going into this game, they don't really feel that much pressure. They're just going to go out there and play their game. As for El Paso on the other side, their core reflected on the 2024 season, a last place finish in the Western Conference. Eric Calvillo said, we're not going to get more opportunities like this and a season like we had this year, guys.
Mahir, thank you so much. You'll be with us all night long down on the field here in El Paso. Referee will blow the whistle, and the postseason is alive for Phoenix Rising as it's sent immediately back El Paso. Kicking off first, moving left to right on your radio dial. They've got the ball in their own box with Sebastian Moramora, the goalkeeper, who lumps it long. It's one out of the air by Acela Senge, and then for Carl Fred Saint. Middle pitch battle. Charlie Dennis comes through the back of an El Paso player. Throw in for Locomotive. 25 ticks into this match. Another trip to this beautiful part of West Texas, El Paso, Kevin. An opportunity for Phoenix Rising to send themselves to a conference semifinal with a win tonight.
And certainly worth noting, Ryan, this is the best this pitch has looked as a soccer field in the times that we've been here. They have been so keen on getting this field ready. It's a beautiful night, and it's going to be some good soccer.
Darius Johnson rushing forward in the box for Phoenix. Low cross blocked away by Kofi Chumazi, the center back. A fast start to this one on this Saturday night. Cleared off by Shihas. It rolls off Saint. A throw in for Phoenix Rising, who played the same starting 11 as it did last week against Pittsburgh Riverhounds on the road. Patrick Rakowski in goal, a back 3 of Shihas, Pop Marboy, and Carl Saint. The wingbacks are Ryan Flood and Acela Senge. The midfield double pivot of Jean-Eric Morsu and JP Skiers. A front 3 of Charlie Dennis, Hope Avievu, and Darius Johnson. Phoenix have a free kick in their own half. 90 seconds into this match, 3rd of the year in El Paso.
It only took us 37 games, but we finally got an entire repeat starting 11 tonight, and that's continuity that we haven't seen at all in 2025. Finally, Phoenix finding their footing, finding their health in some ways. Some ways they have it, and it's important tonight that they stick together because this is going to be an all-in effort to advance into the next round.
One in midfield by El Paso. Gabby Torres on the ball. He's been the star of the show for Locomotive in 2025. Dropping it deep and then clipped long over the top for the run of Frank DeRoma, who will navigate it at the near corner just in front of us here at Southwest University Park. El Paso on the attack in the all blue with the yellow accents, the home kit for Locomotive. Phoenix on the road, donning their home strip as well, the red with the white shorts. Wide it goes, Ricky Ruiz, defended by Charlie Dennis, dropping deep, poor touch Ruiz. And Phoenix has a throw in on the far right side in their own defensive third.
And this near side, left side is going to be one to watch on attack, but especially in defense. The way that that ball skipped along for DeRoma, it just stopped on a dime. It had so much momentum, looked like it was going to go over the end line, but it hits a patch of grass where it starts rolling backwards and it starts to slow down. This left side is cavernous and it's going to be hard to navigate, both when you're trying to progress the ball, but also when you're trying to clear it.
Flicked on by Dennis on the Phoenix throw. One in the middle of the park by Skiers, knotted wide. A run for Ryan Flood to pick it up in an advanced position. The starting left back for Phoenix tonight with Darius Johnson now on the ball. Flood again, scored in this park a few years ago. Stepping up, sliding a ball in behind for no run. Johnson and Flood on the wrong page. 3rd minute goal kick, El Paso. Sebastian Moramora, the goalkeeper for Locomotive, gets his first start in a couple of months. In goal for the Locos in all yellow, Patrick Rakowski keeps the #1 spot for Phoenix in net on the other side in all green. Long it goes from El Paso, looking for the run up top of Amando Moreno, won by Pop Marboy. Stepping 20 shades in to the El Paso half. They've got the ball with Frank DeRoma, the metronomic midfielder. And now wide it goes for Wilmer Cabrera Jr., the coach's son. He goes by Andy, tied for the lead goal scorer in this El Paso team in 2025. Wide it goes, Locomotive on the left side. Middle park now, Robert Coronado. Again, a long diagonal set up well for Cabrera. Andy Cabrera on one touch, then two, then three, then four. Steps into the middle of the park, right at about where the shortstop spot would be on the baseball field. In behind it goes, and across in low. Moreno in there for Torres, blocked away, back for Moreno. And the flag comes up very early on. El Paso free-flowing. They break down Phoenix and nearly have the first, a scoreless start. Not a shot after that attack, Kevin.
And that's sort of going to be the challenge that Phoenix faces tonight. You're going to watch Ryan Flood and Estela Senge sort of get pinned a little higher up on the pitch, but what that creates is opportunities for a guy like Andy Cabrera Jr. to make things happen. He was the very easy option there. It was obvious to see where the ball was going to switch from left to right. The ball finds the feet of Cabrera, and immediately more forward action. They have a cross into the box, and they're just a few inches away from a real quality shot in the net.
Middle park, JP Skierce on the ball, and he finds an outlet in Charlie Dennis, who swivels through a couple of defenders, goes backward for Carl Saint. And now Jean-Eric Morceau, who's been a superstar as of late for Phoenix in this 3-4-3. He gives the ball away poorly, one high by Moreno, and then Morceau steps up, wins a free kick. He almost made a mistake, but he makes up for it. Kevin, I think a couple of minutes ago you mentioned the state of the surface here at Southwest University Park. That was a big topic in the last trip for Phoenix. The left side where Phoenix is defending was a big sore spot for Pamadou Ka in the 3-3, in the 4-4 and the 2-2 draws this year at this stadium. Mahirson Hassan's down there. He's got a little bit more on it after this attack from Phoenix Rising. Charlie Dennis wide, snuffed out by El Paso. Jean Morceau on the ball. Wide it goes, Hope Avievu. He's got nowhere to go but backward once again, Morceau. All 10 red shirts for Phoenix Rising in the attacking half. St. Long missed by Quezada, and as it goes out of touch, Mahir is down there with more on the pitch.
Yeah, Ryan, you mentioned the pitch earlier. The last time Phoenix Rising was here in the Jägermeister Cup, Pamadou Ka was seen shouting at a grounds crew member to fix the pitch, specifically the area that also works as a baseball diamond for the El Paso Chihuahuas, a minor league team here in El Paso. Today, that area, specifically infield, is much better for Rising. That's going to be the left wing, well in their own half for this first half. They'll be attacking that way in the second half. Still some divots, but less than an inch overall. It's a good playing surface as El Paso hosts its first playoff game since 2021.
Thanks, Mahir. Kevin, no qualms from the coach this time. Maybe some chirps from you, though, downfield when we were walking it.
Listen, it's not a perfect playing surface, and it's tough because they've played in some really good ones over the last few weeks when they've hit the road. They went to Wake Med, then they go to Highmark. They've played on some really awesome surfaces. This is a complete change of pace, especially because the Phoenix field at 30th and Washington is very well manicured. That's the way I'd like to put it. It's a fantastic field to play the game on. This is a little bit of a curveball in what has been a really good month of playing football.
0-0 start, 7th minute. Paso just keeping the ball in their own half. Now all the way back for their goalkeeper, Mora Mora. Replaces Jamali Waite in net, the Jamaican national team starter for El Paso. Long goes Locomotive, one out of the air by Boy. Second ball swept up by the home side, and then long they go again. Rakowski off his line quickly. Phoenix plenty of the ball to start this one, well over 60%. As they look to shuffle side to side and create an attack. Boy gives it away, wanted Dennis, Charlie wanted back, and now middle pitch Morceau. Defended by the captain Calvillo, Morceau threading long. Second ball again for Dennis. Charlie charging forward, wide it goes. Phoenix have a throw on the right side in the attacking half. Asenge, the right wing back in this back five for the second consecutive game. He was shaky going forward as you'd expect him to be on the road in Pittsburgh last week. He has the ball, he's looking forward, he's got Charlie Dennis under hit. El Paso player down on the ground as Asenge pressures and eventually fouls. a Locomotive midfielder. Gabby Torres taken to ground, 9th minute. Free kick El Paso. Referee will check on the Locomotive midfielder.
You talked about Asela Senge, and although he is out of position, this is not a normal wingback. One of the things that we've talked about time and time again, match over match, is how cool and calm Asela Senge is when he's under pressure, and when he's able to evade. He's very cool, he's very tidy, and he's very collected when there's people that are running right at him. He's able to beat a defender or turn the ball around and make the right pass. He's not the perfect wingback, but if there was going to be a replacement for Colin Smith, who has been one of the most advanced players positionally in the entire USL Championship, Asela Senge is more than capable of stepping up to the moment.
He fits the bill the most in this Phoenix squad. Still getting a look at the injured player down on the far side of the pitch, right in front of Wilmer Cabrera, the head coach of El Paso Locomotive. His 2nd year in charge, his first full season in charge of the former Houston Dynamo manager, who has some history against Phoenix Rising. Kevin was the manager in 2021 at RGV Toros. That was the last home game for Phoenix Rising. RGV bouncing a #1 seeded Phoenix team out in the playoffs in a penalty shootout. We've already seen one 8 seed fall today in this year's iteration of the postseason. Louisville, the #1 seed, falling 1-0 to Detroit at home, crashing out, maybe the best team in league history. It's just one big name out of the playoffs at this point in time.
And it felt similar last year, Ryan. I remember when we watched Louisville lose to Rhode Island, and you felt sort of the air around the league go, okay, for the millionth year in a row, we have been reminded that anything can happen in November, and that is the theme of this league. Every time you think that there's a clear-cut favorite, it just feels like somebody comes out of the woodwork to make something happen. The shakes are always there in the USL Championship.
Makes this barn burner a ton of fun. Ricky Ruiz was the injured player for El Paso. He's been taken off the pitch. His play has restarted. Ruiz is looking to re-enter. Right now, El Paso playing down a man, middle park. Senge, he's taken his touch wide. He ran right into Ruiz, dodged beyond him. Senge serving in. Darius Johnson has it in the box. He's offside. The flag comes up from the far side assistant, Joe Sikoski. The AR2 on the near side is Ben Regal. The referee is Jeremy Shear, who works his 2nd career USL Championship postseason match in the middle of the park.
Moments like those where Asela Senge takes 3 dangerous but crafty touches are exactly why he is built for the moment to play right wing back tonight against El Paso Locomotive. It's not perfect and it's not always going to be pretty, but those moments where he can successfully evade that pressure around a defender who is right in front of his boots and then fire off a successful cross right into the heart of the box to a just barely offside Darius Johnson, those are the moments that make the difference in a game that's won on the moments.
Morsu, middle pitch for Phoenix, takes a long lofted ball all the way back to Rakowski, first time on his left foot, skips a line, finds Pop Marboy. Again at the feet of the Cameroonian Morsu. And now Charlie Dennis as Phoenix stay on the right side, and it's back with Boy. He switches play for Rafael Shihus, the 6th oldest player in the championship this year. Shihus skips a line again, Darius Johnson, left side rising, Flood, Avievu. Hope Avievu stays his balance and has Shihus again. Last touched out by Gabby Torres, throwing Phoenix attacking 3rd. We talked to Brendan McCarthy, the sporting director of Phoenix Rising pregame, had nothing but praise for the elder statesman of this very young, youngest team in the league, Phoenix Rising squad, Rafael Shihus, 35 years old. Ball in behind, Flood, blocked off. It went off a Rising player last. No, it didn't. Just took a touch off of an El Paso defender, Alvaro Quezada, and a corner kick for Phoenix. First of the night for either side. Rising in the 12th minute, looking to rise up and grab an early lead. Charlie Dennis will take it with his left foot on the near touchline, swinging away from Sebastian Moramora, the goalkeeper of El Paso. Phoenix have struggled at times this year for set-piece goals, but Boy is up there, Shihus and Saint. Dennis will serve one in. It's a good ball. It's just grazed over the bar. Senge was the one who rose highest and just missed it, maybe a yard or so over the crossbar. Phoenix with the best chance of the match so far in the 13th.
they've gotten so much better on these corner kicks and free kick opportunities as well as set pieces, but I think that directly coincides with the fact that they have center backs again, Ryan, and they're playing with a lot of them now with this back three. At times, Colin Smith and Ryan Flood were your central center backs playing on a pitch with pretty much nobody else. Now you have Rafa, you have Carl, you have Pop, you have Asel, 4 big bodies, and that doesn't even take into account the target and JP Skiers. You have bodies and guys that you can hit. Corner kicks are as dangerous as they've ever been for Phoenix Rising in 2025 tonight.
Ryan Flood, the left wingback, is 6'2". Not great in the air, but still tall. That helps. Moramura goes long. It should help Phoenix here too when they defend these long goal kicks, I should say, from El Paso. One by Saint, who's looking to go long himself. He's cleared it basically out of touch. On the ball, Tony Alfaro keeps his place in the starting 11 after a rough showing and a 5-2 defeat to San Antonio for the center backs of El Paso. Good ball forward from Alfaro. Rakowski's got to come off his line. One touch, two touch, and then slyly slings one forward to the feet of Morsu. Dennis and Morsu again turning out of trouble and switching play for Ryan Flood. Phoenix a quarter of an hour in, controlling the lion's share of the possession on the road in West Texas and staying very high up the pitch, I might add as well, with the two wingbacks of Senge and Flood. Kevin pushed very far up. They're the two highest players on the field at the moment.
They're just trying to let them dictate the game in an attacking way. They know that they have center backs that can drop back and do their job. You're trying to let a Ryan Flood, who's not the most advanced player when it comes to beating a man and pushing the ball forward, but he can do something really well. That's hit the ball with his left foot. Put him in a position where he's pinned up a little higher to do a little less with the ball in the build-up and do a little more when it comes to striking.
Mahirson Hassan's down on the pitch as Phoenix venture forward. It's a good ball in behind for Darius Johnson, who is onside. He's strung one high and hard, played by Moramura. The center backs were put under a ton of pressure last week by a very direct, very advanced San Antonio team, Mahir, and that saw 2 changes at halftime. One of those, the starting center back, Tony Alfaro, tonight.
Yeah, it wasn't pretty for El Paso last week. A 5-2 loss, 3 goals conceded within the first 35 minutes, and like you mentioned, Alfaro and Diaz both taken off. Alfaro will be in that left center back role like you mentioned today, but he's going to be facing a lot of trouble going up against Hope Avievu, Charlie Dennis, and many other players, such as Jean-Henri Morsu for this Phoenix Rising side. It's going to be an interesting situation because Rising will be trying to apply some pressure on it.
Here, thank you, Kevin. You hear his words there, and I'm sure you echo them to an extent. 15th minute, Phoenix have a free kick.
Absolutely, and listen, Phoenix came into this game with a plan in which they want to let the players that are on the pitch do things that they normally do very, very well. Obviously, that would be any time, but this is a fairly healthy Phoenix Rising team that has been put into a game in which they think that they can execute a game plan from minute 1 to minute 90. That was a big question during the run of 6 to 7 straight draws. Listen, Detroit was a rough game and a rough showing when it came to conceding 3 goals in 5 minutes. They didn't execute from start to finish. That was echoed over draw after draw after draw. And then the last 3 games, a game plan from minute 1 to minute 90, and they closed and they found ways to get valuable results, but most importantly, 3 points. Now you're not fighting for 3, you're fighting for the next round.
That number of draws Kevin mentioned was only 5, by the way. He was just playing a bit there.
I actually wasn't trying to. I honestly just blanked. Yeah, and then it came out and it was just...
Chumazi on the ball, his 18th consecutive start at the back for El Paso. Ball just trickles out of touch. Quezada wanted to find Cabrera Jr., and it'll be a throw in for Phoenix on the near left side. We'll stop play, 2 balls on the pitch. Slow start to this one. 17th minute. First game we've gotten through a quarter of an hour without a goal being put in the back of the net. All 3 matches have seen a goal inside the first 15 minutes.
Slow in the middle third of the pitch, though, which I think is sort of different from the other slow games that we've seen recently, where the games are sort of dictated from just long ball end to end.
Morsu forward for Hope Avievu, stays on his feet. Hope in the box, he's ripped to the floor. He was already on the ground, says the referee. Hope Avievu already on the floor. As a challenge came in, no penalty. Phoenix had raced forward rather quickly on a direct ball from Morsu. Rising still on it, Jean-Henrique, and now Rafa Shihus, left side. Avievu tucking in. A poor ball as he looked for Johnson. It'll stay with Shihus, and then Flood, and then Shihus. And now Avievu dances, ducks, turns, and had nowhere to go. Cleared by El Paso Quezada. And a clattering challenge. Saint into the backside of Cabrera Jr. And an early decision in a playoff match for Jeremy Shear. The referee. Carl Saint came crashing in, and the yellow card may be coming out of the pocket here as the physio is called on. Phoenix has surrounded the referee. You do not want early yellow cards to center backs in a postseason match, Kevin.
Yeah,
Hasn't come out yet.
That was a hardy challenge from Carl Fred Saint, and I think that what likely happened is that when the body stops in front of you for Cabrera and you're not really ready for it, you just crash right through the center of the back of his chest. That was a rough challenge, but it looks like the caution will stay in the pocket. I'm a little shocked, and also I'm a little intrigued because generally as a center referee, you want to delegate and sort of mitigate the rising tension in the game. This is a playoff setting in a playoff format, and you just told El Paso that hard challenge was not worthy of a caution. Now emotions start to rise.
Might have to go 120 minutes tonight. Let's see how that one lays it on later in the match. Carl Saint stays off a booking on a heavy challenge in the 19th minute. El Paso starts short and immediately with a throw in the attacking half of a 0-0 game. El Paso Locomotive and Phoenix Rising for the 4th time this year. The two teams have met 3 other times. It's the first time since 2018. Phoenix Rising has played the same team 4 times in a single season. It was Orange County, thrice in the league, once in the playoffs. Skipping a line, feet of Coronado, El Paso on it, middle park, over the top for Gabby Torres, missed by Asenge, missed by Torres too, touched by Asenge, throw in attacking third El Paso. Feet of Ricky Ruiz, and wide it goes, Gabby Torres on the far side, left side of El Paso, touched off Asenge, it rolls over the end line for a corner kick.
These are the moments where you start to hold your breath a little bit if you're Phoenix Rising. These concessions, and now you watch El Paso sort of get shot out of the can a little bit. They're a little upset about that yellow card staying in the pocket, and they're going to come with a little more vigor. This is a moment where you need to keep calm, cool, and collected and defend this corner kick.
No team in the league has scored more from corner kicks this season than El Paso Locomotive. A championship best 9 in 30 games this year. It'll be swung out by Ricky Ruiz. Short it goes. Coronado, something from the training ground. Ruiz touching wide again to the corner flag. It is taken off of him by Morsu. Supported by Abievu, he finds Hope. Hope Abievu in his own half, directing traffic. He keeps his balance for Darius Johnson. Abievu again, shoved to the floor. No foul, says the referee. That's the precedent that's been set by Jeremy Shear. Abievu still on the ground as Eric Calvillo switches play to the left side. Ruiz, down the line, Cabrera, heavy contact, 50-50, won by Pop Marboy, and a goal kick for Phoenix Rising as Hope Abievu is down on the ground, maybe 5 yards off the midfield stripe, just in front of the Phoenix Rising physio, Greg Spence. Abievu has become sort of this false 9 striker that drops deep, Kevin, over the last couple of weeks. Plays a very important role for Rising, who don't really have a replacement for him.
Yeah, there's no central attacking midfielder that they can sort of throw on the pitch besides maybe Zian Embers in a pinch. Hope Abievu has been instrumental. He was 1 assist off of being a Golden Boot tied winner in the entire USL Championship. He had 10 assists, 6 goals, and he played 2,300 minutes in USL Championship play, easily eclipsing his MLS Next Pro totals. He is tired. He has played a lot of football. He's ready to put everything forward in this game. They cannot afford to lose Hope, especially not in the first half of this one. That has quickly become a very physical game. The last 5 minutes have been tough challenge, bodies to the ground, lots of throwing of shoulders. There is a lot of contact, and now Hope Abievu sort of holding his shoulder.
Shoulder side.
And he pulled up his jersey over his shoulder. Leads me to believe that maybe it's hurting. It's hard to tell.
Abievu, one of 7 players in the league this year with 15 or more goal contributions, 4th most in the Western Conference, most amongst Phoenix Rising players. They need him in this massively important playoff match. Locomotive on the ball with Kofi Chumazi, the center back. 22nd minute, 0-0 from Southwest University Park. The number 5 seed Phoenix Rising, who finished just a shade off of a home match, a point shy of Locomotive, who finished 4th. Long goes Chumazi, up for the run of Cabrera, who comes into the body of Shihas. And now Jeremy Shear will have a conversation with Armando Moreno as Shihas is hurt. Center backs for Phoenix Rising, far and few between as well. They've got 4, depending on how you see Ryan Flood as well, 5 on the pitch. But reserve center backs don't really exist for this team without Mo Traore available for selection.
You could theoretically think that in a pinch, Noble Okello could play maybe 20, 25 minutes as a center back, or maybe he could replace Carl Fred-Saint as the deepest lying midfielder, and then Carl Fred-Saint could join the back line. It's sort of tough to tell, but when they drop back in defense, they're often playing in a sort of back five shape, trying just to hold the line. When you run out of bodies on the bench and your only option is Noble Okello, you can't afford to lose a guy like Rafa to injury, especially not in the first 25. Same deal with Hope.
Case one of dramatization from a broadcaster. Shihus is up and fine. That's going to be this game, though. Every moment, every passage will play a part in this big chapter in the Phoenix Rising season. Long goes Boy over the head of Charlie Dennis and claimed again by Locomotive with Tony Alfaro. Wide it goes Ricky Ruiz. Long he's looking, run by Boy. Kept in touch by Asenge. Finds the feet of Morsu. It went over the line on the far side. El Paso Locomotive will have a throw in the attacking half.
Genuinely, I think the most dramatic thing that I'm seeing on the pitch with Rafael Shihus is the different stages of life that the hair game brings for him and Ryan Flood. Just two very different but similar cuts right now. A little more flow for Ryan Flood, way less flow for Rafa. Same shape.
Rafa's doing fine for 35, I'd
Fantastic, I'd say.
I bet you he's doing better than Ryan Flood is in 15 years. That's a foul on Morsu. El Paso free kick in their own half. 25th minute, just one shot between these two teams through the opening part of this match. It is a far cry from the first three where they combined for north of 80. Over the course of, I guess, what is that, 300 minutes? You count the extra time period in the Jägermeister Cup? No, they don't go to extra time in the Jägermeister Cup. 270.
270.
It's bad math
thinking
on
about
Kevin's
8.
part,
Yeah,
too.
sorry, guys.
Saint slipped through, couldn't find it. Potmore Boy could, though. He skipped a line for Charlie Dennis. He's got Avievu to his left. Dennis keeping it himself and then whipping it wide. Morsu steps on it. Shunts the ball into the feet of Darius Johnson. Bad back pass, and Phoenix will have to collect with Asenge. In trouble on the end line. And then now all the way to the touchline. Skierce misses out. Calvillo claims it. And up a line for Armando Moreno. No support. Back for Frank DeRoma, center circle. In the attacking half, it goes wide again. Moreno getting it from Shihus. Shihus shuffles off and wins the ball. Moreno pressing. Skierce, Flood, Dennis. Good solve from Phoenix Rising, who might have a chance to break quickly. Charlie Dennis in the attacking half. Wide it goes for a clearly hobbled Hope Avievu in the left corner. Attacking third for Rising. Back it goes for Ryan Flood. 35 now 40 paces away as he turns backward to the midfield line. And for Carl Saint, the central center back. Morsu, Boy, 26-0.
It's a brilliant answer to a question that they were trying to solve between breaking the blocks of El Paso.
Quickly forward for Locomotive. DeRoma had won a 50-50 ball and split a line on a first-time pass. Moreno was in behind, may have been offside. No flag, Phoenix has the football.
Phoenix solved the issue. They turn it around, and Charlie Dennis on the half turn just bursts away, finds Avievu in the corner, but then the ball finds Ryan Flood, and suddenly there's more questions than there are answers, and Ryan Flood is forced to turn around and pass the ball back.
Plenty of space for Hope Avievu. Wide it goes for Flood. Driven ball through the box. Did it take a deflection off Kofi Chumazi? The referee says yes. So it will be a corner kick for the away side, Phoenix Rising. A 6th consecutive road game dating back to the first round of 2023 for Phoenix. They won 4 straight. Lost last year in Albuquerque. Led in the second half, Phoenix did. Before falling 2-1, Macaulay Akale, a brilliant second half for New Mexico United. 27th minute, Charlie Dennis to take. All the big bodies up in the box. Service is strong. Punched by Seba Muramura. Back to the top of the box for Ryan Flood, just putting it into the mixer. Missed everybody. And out for an El Paso goal kick.
It's important not to bury the lead here. That cross from Ryan Flood that got that corner kick initiated was an absolute laser. That punched right through the back line of El Paso and also punched through the front three of Phoenix Rising. But those are the moments and the balls in which you as a sporting director, as a head coach, as a staff member look and go, oh my God. Those are the moments. Ryan Flood can find that ball. He just needs somebody to be there and meet it, because that can go right into the back of the net.
And now for Phoenix Rising, you have to take advantage of the opportunities you've been given so far. A much better 30 minutes tonight than the first 30 minutes last week on the road in Pittsburgh, where Phoenix was dominated over the course of the opening half hour. on the road in Pennsylvania. 55% to the ball for Phoenix Rising. They've got both shots in this match. None of them particularly of great quality, but Rising will want to capitalize on the momentum they've built, especially on the road in a tough place to play. Frank DeRoma couldn't get out of trouble. It's found its way to Ryan Flood. And then Morsu, and finding a Senge, cut out by Torres. Locomotive back on at Ruiz. Long hill look for the run of Amando Moreno. Defended by Carl Saint in his own corner. Rising stuck in their own defensive third. Saint just bodies off Amando Moreno. It took a touch off of Carl Saint somehow. El Paso have its second corner kick. So all the big bodies, Alfaro and Chumazi, the center backs, come charging into the box. It'll be taken by Eric Calvillo, the captain. Served in at the back post. Flood heads away. Still alive for El Paso. Quezada, Coronado, and Alvaro Quezada again, who just launches one up into the 6. Rakowski doesn't even have to jump for it. No pressure as the man in green for Phoenix, the goalkeeper, high points it and scoops it up. A half an hour into this match. A real touchy-feely start to this match. A real chess match, if you will. In the playoffs, you'd expect nothing less. Torres, middle park, now venturing into the attacking third. Gabby Torres laid along. Wilmer Cabrera Jr. snakes through a couple and then ran into Hope Avievu. Back and doing the defensive duty. Wins the challenge as Phoenix clear its lines. Falls for Ricky Ruiz. And now Torres, heavy challenge and a foul on Phoenix's Asela Senge. Free kick El Paso.
Hope Avievu at times this year has been referred to as a magic man. I think that he was told to us that, I can't remember the player, but it was, he's our little hazard, and that was shocking at the time. Avievu finds a way to be impactful on every third of the pitch. That's the second big defensive moment he's had tonight. He swept the ball up with Asela Senge on the end line to the right of Patrick Rakowski. There is the one to jar the ball free from a likely big chance on the way to the chest of Patrick Rakowski. He is always in the center of the action, defensive, offensive, in transition on the counter. He is so important right now, and he's battling too.
6 goals, Western Conference high, 10 assists, but also in the 85th percentile amongst defensive metrics for all midfielders eligible in the league. That's 1,000 minutes minimum play.
And he's not a big guy, and he's not the fastest guy, but he has a low center of gravity, and he's able to put his body in the right place and cut off angles and use his feet to jar the ball free time and time again. He's already done it twice tonight.
31st minute, El Paso have so much space in the middle of the pitch. Coronado, the central midfielder, continues to start in the middle of the park for Wilmer Cabrera. He has played now well over 500 consecutive minutes for El Paso after being a bit part player up until August. Quezada and Coronado, and switching play for Tony Alfaro. Back he goes Moramora, who's got to clear it on good pressure from, you guessed it, Hope Avievu. Senge wins it. Coronado has to head it back to his own keeper. And on his right foot, Moramora will claim it at his own penalty spot. Phoenix has laid off the press a little bit, it feels like, over the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that that's probably sort of a physical thing. Right now, El Paso is throwing elbows and shoulders at everybody, and Phoenix has realized to let El Paso do the work. They're throwing themselves at Phoenix. Phoenix needs to be in the right place at the right time and make smart decisions in space. By not pressing, they give themselves the opportunity to jar the ball free and also get free on the counter rather than being shot out of the cannon and having to turn around like Darius Johnson when he's pressing.
Calvillo to Frank DeRoma. Wide it goes, Ricky Ruiz, who's got a goal this year against Phoenix Rising. Who doesn't for El Paso? 9 on the year against Phoenix. Who doesn't for Phoenix against El Paso? 9 on the year for Rising.
Notice the way JP Skeers is also glued to the body of Frank DeRoma right now. He is following him from left to right. It's not Morsu who has the Frank DeRoma job tonight. It's just JP Skeers, and he is staying attached to his hips.
All 3 of these midfielders for Locomotive well over 1,000 touches. DeRoma, Calvillo, Coronado. For a side that has really taken to having the football at their feet this year. 3rd most possession in the championship in 2025.
Phoenix fancies that.
Yes.
They don't like to have the lion's share of the ball. They would love El Paso to have the lion's share.
Especially this iteration, of Phoenix Rising, the 3-4-3 shape.
Well, because they just love, this is a counter-attacking proficient team, and they like to be direct with the ball, especially when they're trying to net that first goal. By not having the ball, it gives them the opportunities to do that.
Saint has it. Saint almost gives it away. Good pressure from Wilmer Cabrera in his own third, but somehow Phoenix keep the ball, and now a venture to the other side of the pitch. Ryan Flood in the attacking third. Left side for Phoenix, one-on-one Quezada. Flood crossing in, dangerous cross, pushed away by El Paso. Darius Johnson's down on the ground in his own box, and Rising will kick it out of touch. As the referee will get a chance to check on Darius Johnson, who's got a hand, a big palm over his right eye. Felt he was bumped into on his way into the box. He will stretch it out, his legs that is, hard to stretch out an eyeball, and get back up to his feet.
Really impressive.
Could you extend it out like in the cartoons? Is that how that
I don't like that one. I don't like that one. We got to think of a more creative way.
Halloween's done, I guess.
Yeah.
34th 0-0. First home game in the postseason for El Paso Locomotive in 4 years, 2021. They fell in the first round, 1-0 to Oakland Roots. That was the last match that Mark Lowry coached for El Paso, the longtime manager, the first manager here in West Texas. El Paso's got the throw, they'll give it right back, sportsmanship-like, to Phoenix deep in their own half. These two teams met in the playoffs once before as well, 2020 Western Conference Finals. So much at stake for a Phoenix Rising team right at the tail end of its heyday. The 2019 team, probably the prime of Phoenix 2020. Phoenix finished first in the West, got all the way to the Western Conference Final, played the number 2 seed. El Paso Locomotive won in a shootout in Tempe to get to a title game that was eventually canceled for COVID on the road in Tampa. Phoenix have it with Shihus, 35 years old. He was, 30 that year? He's still an old guy. Saint, much younger, on the ball. Morsu, even younger than that. Number 20 on his back, barely 20 years old. Morsu stepping up, finding Charlie Dennis in the midfield and back wide for Jean-Eric Morsu. The deepest of Phoenix's defenders, Pop Boy, is on the ball. Back for Rakowski. Leads the league in passes from a goalkeeper, Patrick Rakowski. Rising love to use him.
And Rakowski, these are the games that are sort of tough for a guy like Patrick, who, when the action's not coming your way and there's not much test coming towards the goalkeeper, it's up to Rakowski to stay locked in and be intent with the game for the entire 90 minutes, because although there's nothing coming his way right now, it can break away in an instant, and he needs to be ready to stop whatever goes that way.
Morsu on it, wide for Pop Boy, the captain tonight for Phoenix, looking to lump one in early, well too close to the goalkeeper, Mora Mora. 10 minutes to go in this opening half. It's just continued to be kind of a let's see what you do type of match. Long goes El Paso, won by Boy, forward for Morsu, and then for JP Skiers, who's been such a consistent piece for Phoenix over the back half of the season. A local Arizonan who has played the full 90 in 24 of the last 26 matches for Phoenix Rising.
That's why he signed that new extension.
All the way through to 2027. Skiers, he's got the ball. Middle Park, lifted along. Asenge just a shade offside. His run started too soon. You may have heard it pop up there from the PA announcer, which I believe is Duke Keith tonight. Not sure, might be pulling double duty on the TV broadcast. 90th minute in Tulsa, the #1 seed in the West. FC Tulsa 0-0 with Colorado Springs, the 8th seed. Important because the winner of that match faces the winner of this match. If Tulsa wins, the winner of this one's going on the road next weekend. If Colorado Springs Switchbacks, the defending champions, can pull off the upset, the winner of this one will have a home playoff match. 38th, long goes Phoenix. Too heavily hit for Charlie Dennis. Out of touch, El Paso throwing their own third. Skipping a line for Moreno. Boy missed it, Torres missed it too. And down for Saint, who shapes his body and secures the ball to the feet of Ryan Flood. 38th and Phoenix, foray forward. Morsu, a whole wall of blue in front of him, and back for Carl Saint. Flood, Morsu Middle Park.
And it feels obvious to me that El Paso's new sort of direction is we're going to let Carl-Fred Saint dictate this game as a center back. They want him to be the decision maker because they probably think that under pressure they can get him to do something wrong, play a poor pass, jar it free, get something on the counter. He has become the decision maker, especially as Rafael Shihas has been very far advanced up the pitch, especially when they're in transition. He's the one drifting, and he's the one trying to find that thread ball through.
Flood with a good defensive effort, kicks it out of play. Locomotive throw. He's Kevin Cardes, Ryan Sikora, Mahirson Hassan, the third member of our team, down roaming the touchline somewhere. Engineer here on site is Sammy O'Brien. Technical director back in studio is Chris Schubert with KDUS AM 1060 and the Phoenix Rising Radio Network on the Phoenix Rising social media pages. Coronado Middle Park, El Paso. Kofi Chumazi spent the season a year ago with Rhode Island FC, made 4 playoff appearances for the Eastern Conference champions. Skierce slaloms slyly through, has space to search. Feet of Darius Johnson, heels on the touchline, left side, and back he goes for Rafael Shihas. Saint. Shihas again, and Ryan Flood, left side, kicks it off the defender. Quezada wins it, and Middle Park Calvillo sprinting in behind Amando Moreno. Chasing him is Pop Marboy, right side attacking third. Moreno's head is up. Feet of Gabby Torres. Good defensive effort from Estela Senge to just intervene with the former Phoenix Rising man. It'll fall kindly into the hands of Patrick Rakowski in the 40th minute, still 0-0.
We waited months, Ryan, to see what it would look like when Estela Senge and Pop Marboy would share the pitch together, because we thought, hey, 2 free safeties, 2 guys who excel at getting back in transition and stopping upward momentum for teams on the counterattack, and that is exactly what happened. Pop Marboy, the first guy to get back and stop the action, then the switch of play, and Estela Senge is the guy to jar it free. That is exactly what they wanted and what they envisioned when they brought in Estela Senge on loan. It's what they envisioned with Pop Marboy a year ago when they got him from Clemson. It is exactly what they wanted.
Today, much better than last week in Pittsburgh.
And it'll take time for them to get used to each other because they honestly haven't played that much with each other, especially in a back 3. But when you're left-sided center back and your right-sided center back, and Estela Senge on your best day, obviously tonight, you have a right wing back and Estela Senge are playing together consistently at the athletic level that they can play at, you might have something special.
First time all year Phoenix have repeated a starting 11 in a match. 37th game of the year. That is how decimated this team has been in 2025. Coach Pop Marboy and Coach Pamadou Ka, Captain Pop Marboy, both asked about those things this week and said this team has overcome so much over the course of this long 9, almost 10-month season. Rising team that is, at this point in time, just lost 1 of its last 11 matches. Only bested coming into the postseason by Louisville City, the team that took the most points per game in league history en route to the #1 seed in the Eastern Conference. Bowed out tonight to the 8 seed Detroit. Throw in from Phoenix, it will roll all the way untouched somehow to the goalkeeper Moramora. He'll take it in his feet and look to build for El Paso. 45% of the ball for a team that usually averages up over 54.
It's what Phoenix has wanted to do from the very start of the season, from the preseason. They wanted to control games. They wanted to dominate games. When you control the lion's share of the ball and you're able to dictate from right to left the way that they have been tonight, this is exactly what the model was asking for 9 months ago when the season began.
0 shots for El Paso in this match so far. Phoenix coming forward. Darius Johnson trying to win it back. He's pressed too hard. And he's fouled Kofi Chumazi, a free kick for Locomotive.
And you mentioned 0 shots conceded so far by Phoenix. In the last 3 games, conceding just 0.67 expected goals per game in the last 3 contests. They have been staunch. That's what it is described as. Their defense has truly come together on the back of 3 straight clean sheets from Patrick Rakowski.
Other final scores in the playoffs. Pittsburgh Riverhounds 0, Hartford Athletic 0. The Hounds, the home side, advance in a shootout and defeat the Jägermeister Cup winners in Hartford Athletic. North Carolina score early, hang on to beat Loudoun United at home. So the 4 and 3 seeds have advanced. Darius Johnson chasing one to the corner, out of touch, goal kick. Locomotive 43rd minute. So the Eastern Conference playoff taking shape for the second round. Pittsburgh will host Detroit. North Carolina will get the winner of Charleston and Rhode Island tomorrow on CBS Sportsnet. FC Tulsa have scored late on in stoppage time in the 92nd minute. It may not count. We'll keep an update on that one at halftime. 43rd. May have come in extra time. We'll get you posted on that one. Coronado, stick around for the post-game show later on, presented by Crown Public House. The halftime report coming up next as well here on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. 43rd minute, Eric Calvillo's on the ball in his own half. The number 6, the captain's armband on his left bicep. He takes 5 or 6 steps up and finds the feet of Frank DeRoma. And now the run of Alvaro Quezada. Excellent defensive effort from Ryan Flood to intervene. Jean Morceau bumped into by Gabby Torres. Too much of an extension from the midfielder of El Paso. A free kick given to Phoenix right at the midfield line. It has come in extra time, so still 25 minutes to go in Tulsa. But Locomotive right now and Phoenix right now, as it stands, if they can win today, would have to go on the road to Oklahoma next week. Out of touch for a goal kick. Poor effort by Phoenix, who couldn't combine with Darius Johnson. 44th 0-0. Every match in the playoffs so far has been touch and go. One chance could be enough tonight. Shihus, great ball to find the feet of Charlie Dennis on the right side. In the attacking third, he's flicking it along for the run of Asenge, touched off an El Paso defender, out for a rising throw in the attacking third. Asenge's got a long throw if they want to use it. Not many big bodies up there. Dennis in the corner, taken off of it by Ruiz. Charlie Dennis can't find the ball. Cleared away off the head of Aveyevu for an El Paso. No, went off the hand of Aveyevu, says the referee. Free kick, Locomotive.
Phoenix is sort of getting tied up when they get to the final third. There's no real connection in front of the mouth of the net. They are getting the ball and accessing the final third. They are not accessing the box or the penalty area. They are trying to find their chance, but when you're not connected with Darius Johnson's runs, or Darius Johnson isn't connected with his wingback partner Ryan Flood, you are going to struggle to find a true quality chance in the net, and that's when you start hoping for those low quality chances to find the back of the nylon. You want to manufacture that real chance. So far, it hasn't materialized for Phoenix, but for what it's worth, it hasn't materialized for El Paso either.
Still no shots for the Locos. In front of a bit-part crowd, I would probably describe it here in El Paso. Not the attendance you would have hoped for a playoff match, I'd think. Feet of Darius Johnson ripped to the ground. 3 minutes of stoppage time in the first half as DJ takes a touch forward, ran into Torres, and a surprising whistle from the center official Jeremy Shear has given Phoenix a free kick, maybe 45 yards away in the attacking half. Home crowd didn't love it.
Understandably so, but now Phoenix gets a chance. And the last time there was a free kick in this relative area for Charlie Dennis, pretty awesome things happened, Ryan.
A little further away than that.
Never too far. We saw a moonball from Motaira here, what, 9 months ago?
Yeah, right at the beginning of the season that capped off a 4-all draw between these two teams. It was probably a sign of things to come for Phoenix this season in 2025. Dennis will take as it's pushed up into the box. Bounces at the top for Ryan Flood shot. It went miles over the bar in the end. Stung well wide as well. Goal kick El Paso 47th.
The comments really aren't overcooked when it comes to Ryan Flood being able to generate power with that left foot. That ball just zipped off of his cleat. He has so much potential when he puts his foot to the ball like that. They just need something to fall their way and to get an actual clear-cut opportunity on the net.
Phoenix Rising team fresh off its first 0-0 draw of the season. Right now shading that way. Scoreless in first half injury time. Boy, Asenge, right side, own half. Boy again, and Rakovsky just clears it. Wanted nothing to do with it, Phoenix's goalkeeper. Dennis, a battle between Morsu and DeRoma. It comes to an end. Misjudged by Coronado, well read by Skiers. No man to find the second ball as El Paso has it. In behind, Amando Moreno, 5 goals in 7 prior matches against Phoenix. He's taken off the ball finally by Rafa Shihus. Final minute of the first half. Flood wide for Aveyevu. Hope Aveyevu in the 48th was offside by maybe a foot. Very tight. But it will be a free kick for El Paso. with the final 30 seconds of the first half set to come.
So unfortunate for Phoenix. It feels like they have a real opportunity on the break, and Hope Avievu was called off sides by just a hair. So close, yet so far. Now you need to survive this last minute of added time.
Long it goes from El Paso, dumped into the box, Wilmer Cabrera by the touchline on the right side. Back it goes, Alvaro Quezada. Quezada dancing in, Quezada's shot is wide of the first post. A poor effort from Locomotive, first shot of the night for the home team. And that is probably going to lead us to the final kick of the first half. Patrick Rakowski with the goal kick will likely launch this one into a starless night sky in West Texas. He won't even get the chance to do it before Jeremy Shear blows his whistle twice in a half that could be best described as cagey. Kevin Cardes.
What's the opposite of breathless, Ryan? Maybe lungs full, well rested. That's what this one feels like. There was a lot of action in the center of the park, but it really feels like there was no real opportunity for either side to even begin to manufacture the first goal of this contest. The first 45 was, as you described, a chess match. Both teams trying to find a way to find the other side's true pain point, to push and then dig, scratch, claw, and find that first goal. Pamukkale in 2025 has been really good at one very specific thing, Ryan. He has made awesome halftime adjustments. Now he gets to move the pieces on his chessboard and try to find a checkmate.
Rather fitting that a game with so many goals over the course of its season, 18 with these two sides combined over the prior 3 matches, is somewhat stodgy here in a postseason match where the mentality shifts entirely. Scoreless after 45. The halftime report will come. We'll give you stats and we'll give you scores from around the league as the postseason kicks off tonight on Saturday, November 1st on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
As Uzuchukwu's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
And a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's the lunch break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Now we go back to the field to break down the first half action with the Rising Radio Halftime Report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Back here from El Paso on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network, Ryan Sikora, Kevin Cardez from Southwest University Park. 0-0 at the break in this 4 versus 5 matchup in the USL Championship Western Conference playoffs between Phoenix Rising and El Paso Locomotive. Stats from the first half, Kevin: 3 shots to 1 in favor of Phoenix. None on target for either of these two teams. A far cry from the first 3 games faced. Rising had slightly more possession at 53% to El Paso's 47. Phoenix a little more dominant in terms of the field tilt. The game has been played in El Paso's half more often than not, but it's been a really interesting tactical duel.
Yeah, and so we talked about throughout the start and to the end of the first half of, El Paso was in the low 40s when it came to possession. Then they slowly grew into the game and had the ball a little bit more. They end with 47%. It's nearly split right down the middle. But you mentioned the biggest piece: Phoenix playing the game in El Paso's half. It's something that Brandon McCarthy, the sporting director for Phoenix Rising, talked about. They want to get the ball out of this area in front of the mouth of the net. They want to keep it away from Rakowski and crew, and they want to play forward. They want to be direct, and they want to attack the net. That hasn't turned into a ton of shots. It hasn't turned into shots on target. It hasn't turned into a chance, but it's kept the ball out of danger and trouble in front of the Phoenix Rising goaltender.
Something very important in postseason matches: how you handle your moments to win the ball. 64% the duels won by Phoenix Rising so far in this one. That's a stat to track in the second half as we give you scores from around the league here in the first round of the playoffs. This is the final of 6 matches on this Saturday, November 1st. Phoenix Rising 0, El Paso 0. 0-0 between Pittsburgh and Hartford earlier today. Riverhounds winning in a shootout, advancing as the 4 seed. They will host the surprise result of the opening round. Detroit City won, Kevin. They beat Louisville City, the number 1 seed in the Eastern Conference, probably the best team in league history.
It's an absolute shocker. You never thought that what happened last year between Rhode Island and Louisville would happen again. And here we are 365 days later, and Louisville has fallen again. And this team's Louisville was better than last year's. They ran away with the league last year when it came to regular season games. This year, they just lost 1 game in USL Championship play. Then they dropped their opener in the quarterfinals to Detroit City. Absolute shocker in the Eastern Conference.
North Carolina, a 1-0 win thanks to an early goal from Olex Anderson at home over Loudoun United. 2-0 New Mexico leads San Antonio in the 65th minute. Valentin Noel doubling the score in Albuquerque. New Mexico, the 3 seed, would go on the road potentially next week to Sacramento, who play Orange County tomorrow in the 2 versus 7. And then the 2 versus 7 on the eastern side of things is Charleston and Rhode Island. That's a tasty matchup in the South Carolina region. But the big one for us, Tulsa won in extra time, just started the second half of extra time. Colorado Springs 0. Right now the winner of this match having to travel to Oklahoma next week.
Yeah, 15 minutes stands between Tulsa and hosting another home playoff game against either El Paso Locomotive or Phoenix Rising. All eyes right now during this halftime on this Tulsa and Colorado Springs game because there is so much left to be played. Colorado trying to do another little bit of damage when it comes to the playoff scene and find a way to survive and maybe win in a penalty shootout.
Defending champions chasing the number 1 seed in the West at the moment. We'll keep an eye on that one as this halftime progresses. We'll come back. We'll give you the things that we're looking out for in the second half on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tire simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
You're listening to the Rising Radio Halftime Report on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Back in El Paso, Phoenix Rising 0, El Paso Locomotive 0 on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Ryan Segura, Kevin Cardez, Mahir Sinhasan. The number to look at, Mahir, I think, from this first half, and you and I were just talking about it off air. 3 shots for Phoenix, 1 shot for El Paso, no shots on target allowed. That doesn't make a lot of sense in the grand sense of this matchup this year, all the goals, all the shots. But over the course of the season, it's relatively unsurprising for these two teams.
Yeah, I definitely would call it unsurprising. I mean, you take a look at Phoenix Rising, who has only been averaging 9 shots allowed per game lately for El Paso. They've allowed the 3rd least shots in USL Championship history, but have also given up 47 goals. So there's an interesting relationship for both sides when it comes to chances and also creating chances that way. And I saw it down on the pitch in the first half because both teams, despite them getting close towards the 18, they never felt frustrated. And in a match like this where you're not getting too many chances and the chances you have are not going close towards net, one might feel frustrated, but it doesn't feel that way. Both teams are feeling ready for the moment, and most importantly, both teams are matching each other's energy.
Kevin, the number he just said there, 3rd least shots in league history allowed for El Paso this year, is really jarring when you consider the games they've played against Phoenix this year. It's really been, in these matchups, about what? Mistakes being made by the team's defenses?
I think sometimes the game is just played in a way where you sort of detach from the previous trends that you've set. At first, Phoenix had to completely change their shape in just, the 2nd game of the season. They had to swap from their back 4 to a back 3 with Mo Traore on the chase, and they had to shift their entire identity. That didn't come back until a month ago, and suddenly it was, okay, we're back to the back 3, but that was a complete identity change. And then in the Jägermeister Cup, you watch a 15-year-old put in a penalty, and there's so many things that change, whether it's the personnel or the passion or the pride or whatever's at stake, but these two teams come together in a different way every single time. But I'd say, Ryan, that it feels like Phoenix and El Paso are playing Phoenix and El Paso ball right now. It doesn't feel like Phoenix is getting bullied into playing in a different way. It doesn't feel like El Paso is doing anything different. These are two teams that were feeling each other out, but very clearly playing their preferred style of soccer, and that is a big change from what has happened over the last 3 games.
For Phoenix Rising, it is now 345 minutes and 20 seconds without conceding a goal in USL Championship play. That has led to a 0-0 scoreline at the break in El Paso. Phoenix and El Paso potentially playing for a home playoff match next weekend in the postseason. The winner might have a chance to get there. We'll keep you posted on the score in Tulsa between Colorado Springs and FC Tulsa when we come back. Second half is here as well. Rising and Locomotive looking to step themselves in to the next round of the postseason on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Let's get into the action. Phoenix Rising Soccer, live now on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
45 minutes, maybe more, away from a playoff win for Phoenix Rising or El Paso Locomotive tonight in the first round of the Western Conference. Live from Southwest University Park, the second half set to come on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. Ryan Sakura, Kevin Cardez here with you on location. Phoenix will kick off first, moving left to right in the second half, and we have started here in El Paso. A first 45 minutes that saw just 4 combined shots, none on target. Probably the picture-perfect rendition of a playoff match's first half and how it should go, Kev.
Just 2 boxers in a boxing match, punching each other but not looking for that knockout until they can get to the second half. They were feeling out, they were looking for pain points, and now you go to halftime. You have that 15-minute block to talk things over and say, what can we do better, what did we do good, and what can we exploit? Now it's up to the decision makers in Wilmer and Palmaruca to find their pain points and exploit the other team. Find that opening goal. Somebody has to open the account.
El Paso had the ball, and then it's drifted long. Cleared out of touch, and a Locomotive throw. In the attacking third early on, Wilmer Cabrera Jr., the coach's son, on it on the right side. He'll give it away, and now find Amando Moreno. Alvaro Quezada, and then Cabrera. Moreno ducking into the box by the byline, too heavy a touch. Out for a Phoenix goal kick. 70 seconds into this second half, 47th minute, 0-0. Phoenix kept El Paso at bay. El Paso kept Phoenix at bay.
What hasn't stopped is the noise from the traveling Banditos. Phoenix Rising sent a bus full of fans from Phoenix to El Paso tonight, and they've been strumming the drum and playing all night long. It's been pretty cool to see. This is the biggest traveling group that I've seen in 2025.
About 50 to 75, we estimate here on our vantage point. They've moved a section over. They were in 215. They've moved more towards midfield in 214, gone closer to the El Paso supporters section. Morsu in the middle of the park. Got kicked as he won the ball. Dennis has it, and then Abiyevu ran into trouble, taken off of it. Hope is on the ground. Morsu is on the ground. El Paso have possession and are playing forward with DeRoma. Wide right, Cabrera, Moreno, nowhere to go, and a foul late right in front of the technical area of El Paso. Free kick Locomotive.
I think Jean is pretty banged up on that. Looked like he either got cleated or somebody just tagged his ankle, but he is limping over to the action right now. He was unable to really get up and start moving. Now, just trying to walk it off.
They might need him to play the full 120 tonight. Jean-Eric Morsu, such an important piece to this midfield double pivot that Phoenix has adopted over the last month. Morsu next to J.P. Skiers.
Morsu has been such a late addition too, which is why it's so refreshing to see him just get so involved and be so good so quick. It's the ability to insert yourself in a new system, in a new city, in a new state, in a new country, coming over from France, also playing at times in Cameroon. You know, he has been thrown around, and at just 20 years old, one of the youngest players on this team, has turned into very quickly one of the most important, and his showing in 2025 has been so important, especially in the last month.
El Paso on it after the free kick. They've played it short and back for Tony Alfaro, the center back. He's pressured by Avievu, goes back to the goalkeeper, Sebastian Moramora. Gets the start over Jamali Waite tonight, who had been the main man in goal this year for Wilmer Cabrera. Morsu back on his feet, winning the ball deep for Phoenix. Asenge down the line for Dennis, cut out by Ruiz. Morsu bumped into by Moreno. Free kick, Phoenix Rising. Midfield, Morsu rolling and rolling over. Almost as if he's on the stage of Broadway. It is a foul, and it is a free kick for Phoenix in the 49th minute.
Far from a starving artist, Jean-Eric Morsu is. This one is going to pay the bills. Very good performance on the ground here from Eric, but he had already gotten tagged about 2 minutes ago, and now rolling on the ground, trying to get some help. Greg Spence is walking over to give water to what looks to be Ryan Flood, but it seems like he's going to stay away from Jean for now.
Restart as Jeremy Shear, the referee, sifts through the traffic. No cautions given. Still with that one in this match. Carl Saint could have had one earlier on. Moreno could have had one for that challenge. Phoenix a free kick, right at midfield. Charlie Dennis to take it. High line from El Paso, 25 yards away from the goal of Sebastian Moramora. Rising, moving left to right. On your dial in all red. Dennis will serve it in. Up for Skiers, away by Chumazi. Offside flag will come up, and El Paso will have a free kick in their own half.
Now Phoenix just needs to find a way to get something going in terms of cohesion as a front three. Still looking for that chance, still looking for a true shot on target. Find a way to break this one open. It doesn't have to be a goal, but it just has to be something that gets the ball rolling, because right now you're watching the ball get passed back and forth between El Paso, but nobody is beating their man.
It's been the story on both sides. Long from Moramora, header won by Shihas of Phoenix. Down it goes again, and the bodies of the blue shirts will swarm to it. Chumazi, Moramora the goalkeeper, sent sky high. Moreno nodding down, Skiers flicking along. Nobody corralling until finally Alvaro Quezada has it for the home side. 51st, scoreless. Same situation as it was last year for Phoenix Rising in the postseason. A scoreless first half that led to a Fede Varela goal early in the second half on the road in Albuquerque. For the home side, New Mexico United turned 2 late on to win 2-1. Ricky Ruiz down the line, run of Gabby Torres. 3 goals and an assist this year against Phoenix. Pop Marboy meets him and just kicks it away. Out of touch for a corner kick.
Probably the right call there from Pop Marboy to say, no funny business, send this one out, let's defend something that's more controlled and contained, like this corner kick, knowing that it's gonna be tough to stop Gabby if he gets by your hips.
And no team in the league better at attacking these corner kicks than El Paso Locomotive, 9 on the season. They go short, DeRoma, left side, wide again, left foot of Ruiz, will cross in, took a deflection off Avievu, out of touch. Another corner to come.
Phoenix has gotten way better at defending these corners as well. It was a big issue at the start of the season. They grew into it, and then there was another patch in the middle, especially the dead of summer when they were missing all of their center backs and they were playing 2 academy kids a night. They have gotten so much better. They need to stay pristine on corner kick defense.
Another service to come from Eric Calvia, the captain. Armband on his left side. He goes short and low, flicked about, blocked by Saint. He'll look long for the run of Darius Johnson. Well defended in the end by Quezada, who had to get in front of the ball and did. Still with Locomotive, Coronado on his left, looking long, well weighted. Ruiz missed it, Asenge didn't. Out of touch for a throw. El Paso have started the second half better of the two teams. 53rd minute.
And this is something that Phoenix really hasn't dealt with much in the back half of the season. They have been very good at coming out of the locker room at halftime and being the better team. But right now, El Paso is the one throwing the punches. You have to wonder, does Phoenix just need to survive a few haymakers to let the fight come their way so they can throw punches of their own?
Down the line it goes. Moreno couldn't get a touch. Shihus got there first. He skipped the line for Dennis. Charlie Dennis looking for the lung-busting run of Halbavievu. Could not connect with Rising's number 10. El Paso back on it. Ruiz clashed into by Dennis. Halbavievu looking to touch it into the box. Great weight. Charlie Dennis into the area. Just defended finally. Out for a corner kick for Phoenix Rising now. Charlie Dennis will take it. 54th minute. 0-0 match. Phoenix trying to jump out in front in almost the same minute as it did a year ago in Albuquerque in the playoffs first round. All the bodies up there for Rising. Dennis to whip it in towards the frame of Moramora. Good service. Power boy! Oh, the stop by Moramora would not have counted anyway. A foul on Pop Marboy. Score has gone final in Oklahoma. Tulsa in extra time. The #1 seed survived the defending champions Colorado Springs and advance to the semifinals of the Western Conference, which means the winner of this match will travel to Oklahoma next weekend.
What a turnaround for Tulsa at the top of the Western Conference. They went from a team that had no clue what their identity was to forging one under Luke Spencer in the span of what feels like just such a short amount of time. And now, leading the West, they take out the defending champions in Colorado Springs Switchbacks, and one of El Paso or Phoenix will play them in Tulsa in a week.
Long it goes. Rising have it with Shihus off the knee of Boy. Left side Phoenix. Rising have played Tulsa 3 times this year already, just as they had El Paso before the postseason. 2 draws and a loss. That was match day 1 of the year for Phoenix, a 1-0 defeat at home. The other 2 games played to a level footing in Oklahoma. 56-0-0. That becomes the forefront of the mind now and has been for some time for Phoenix Rising. Looking to replicate the run of 2023, in which it won the title as the 6th seed. Long from Phoenix, Asenge nodding along Dennis. Touched by the corner flag, Charlie Dennis keeping it around. Back from Morsu, Jean Morsu. Morsu crossing. He was fouled? No, the ball went out of touch before he could serve it in. El Paso a throw. Given away by El Paso. Well pressured by Morsu, then Flood on it before he touched it too heavily, and Locomotive clear its lines. Saint whipped wide. Left side Ryan Flood, the wingback, going 1v1 with Quezada. Swim move over him, ripped to ground, no foul, goal kick.
Wildly intriguing to me, Ryan, that Carl-Fred Saint has officially slid back and slotted in as the central center back in possession. He has become the left to right passer, whereas they have liked Rafael Shihus as that central center back over the last month or so, being the one to decide the pace of the game, setting the tempo, playing the ball from left to right, being communicative, being that older leader presence that they've so badly needed in the back half of the season, but now opting for the much younger Haitian and Carl-Fred Saint to dictate the pace and allow Rafa to drift up the field and play more attacking and dangerous balls, as well as push the pitch on his own. He has been busting lungs at 35 tonight.
Senge missed the header. Who'd that touch off last? It went off of Senge, not Gabby Torres. Throw in Locomotive. Calvillo finds it. And then to Roma. Long goes El Paso. It'll fall underneath for Armando Moreno. Wide he finds the feet of Wilmer Cabrera. Touched in the box, Cabrera driving through. Blocked away by Phoenix, but over the end line for a corner kick. Carl Saint got the crucial intervention.
Phoenix was just 26% of the ball so far through the second half. They have not been the ones to decide the pace, the tempo. They have not decided the run of the game. It has been El Paso, El Paso, El Paso as they get another corner kick here. The long walk over there.
He's swung in by Ricky Ruiz. Everybody in the 6. Deep cross, back post, Asenge alone. He heads it away outside the area. It'll fall kindly for Cabrera. Andy Cabrera tried to turn to the byline, ran into Darius Johnson. Ball still at his feet. Asenge whips it off of him. And now Phoenix Rising can break. Charlie Dennis taking it inward, looking for options as he moves side to side. Saint strikes one off the body of the referee, who may have taken a hard one. That should mean it's Phoenix's ball. It was really just a clearance, but Rising the last to touch it. And if it hits off the goalkeeper, it falls to the possession of the team that last touched it. The referee, I should say. So it will be Phoenix Rising ball. Jeremy Shear will reset.
Poor first touch from Jeremy Shear there, but unfortunately it goes back for Rising. They'll get to restart off of a free kick here. Potmar Boy will be the one to initiate the action, but Asela Senge sort of broke open on his own little run to the right as Charlie Dennis sort of waded his way into a sea of El Paso Locomotive bodies. It just feels like Phoenix is connected and they're not finding the best possible option to move forward. They're trying to find their moments and they're very lateral right now. They aren't being the direct counterattacking team that they've been for the last month. It feels stagnant in the second half.
Hour in and Phoenix scoreless so far. Now got less of the ball than El Paso. Heavy contact midfield. Frank DeRoma threading a needle, cut out by Saint. It was a tough window to find for Frank DeRoma, the Sierra Leone international. Ruiz, Dennis couldn't get there. None of the 50-50s going the way of Phoenix right now. Calvillo, he's got a touch, about faces, finds rhythm, fouled by Avayevu. Free kick El Paso, 45 yards away from Rakowski's goal. Eric Calvillo asking for persistent infringement. And now the referee is asking for Eric Calvillo's presence. The captain very frustrated with Phoenix so far in the second half. So many fouls, he can't believe it.
Sure doing a really good job to just keep his composure and say, I hear you. Probably lots of pleasantries being exchanged right there, like I like your bright green shirt and awesome refereeing tonight, man. This is really cool. Playoffs, huh?
Armando Moreno, Ricky Ruiz, Frank DeRoma, Middle Park, El Paso Locomotive. Back in their own half for the center back, Tony Alfaro. Well away from frame. The goalkeeper, Sebastian Moramora, on it for the home side. Touched by Ruiz. It's 3 straight losses in the playoffs for El Paso, dating back to the 2020 Western Conference Final defeat to Phoenix Rising. Lost as a home team in 21 and away team in 22. Tonight 0-0 in the 62nd. Just 5 shots, still none on target. The goalkeepers haven't had to do anything in this match. Moreno trying to change it. Boy comes through the back, and it's a fair challenge. And then Alfaro does the same to Avayevu. Fair challenge. Charlie Dennis touches beyond. 3-on-4, Phoenix with numbers. Charlie Dennis snaking in, ripped to the ground, a free kick. Maybe an inch off the white line. Let's see where the referee spots this one. It will be just outside the penalty area. A Phoenix free kick, 18 yards and a foot away from the goal. In the 62nd minute, Charlie Dennis does Charlie Dennis things. Takes a touch down the line, takes another up through the middle, and rips into the El Paso area before being brought down just outside of it by Frank DeRoma.
It's a great call. The foul is committed right on the edge of the box. Very keen eyes there from Jeremy Shearer to make sure that that doesn't go the way of a penalty. But how dangerous does it get for a free kick off the boots of Charlie Dennis right on the edge of the box?
Remy Cabral has come into the match. He has replaced Hope Avayevu, Phoenix's best playmaker, who has struggled tonight with an injury he picked up in the first half. Cabral, an out-and-out striker from Avayevu, who was operating more as a drop-in and combined false 9. Cabral, a very good penalty taker as well, if we get to that point later on in the match. Charlie Dennis will take the free kick. The wall is 7 deep. Paso Locomotive. Maybe 6, 1 on the ground. Moramora, the goalkeeper. Charlie Dennis kept out by Sebastian Moramora. A stretch to the top corner. Superb save from Sebastian Moramora, who nailed into his own first post and is clearly rattled. Dennis went for finesse to the near post upper 90 and was somehow stopped by the backup goalkeeper of El Paso. Oh my goodness, what a stretch in the 64th.
Body on the line for Sebastian Moramora. Everything, every inch of his frame stretched to get to that ball. 2 palms to it, runs right into the near goal post. Looks like he might have hit his neck on the goal post, but man, that was perfect from Charlie Dennis. It was perfect from Moramora, and it becomes the biggest moment of the game. Charlie has been so dangerous, Ryan, on these chances. He has often found at least the goal area. He has made it hard for keepers when he's the one taking those free kicks. Moramora does everything perfect and denies Phoenix the opening goal of this contest.
The backup goalkeeper is Jamali Waite, a Jamaican international who has started the majority of the matches this year for El Paso, 22 games in the league. Moramora very clearly hit the side of his head. He will get checked for concussion protocol. I think it was a pretty loose check.
You got me, man?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's play.
Phoenix have a corner kick after all of that. Charlie Dennis will take this one with all the big bodies up in the box. In swung from the left foot of the Englishman. Dennis's service, well delivered. Marboy heads along. It's touched away by Kofi Chumazi, out for another Phoenix corner kick. Worth noting, some of the Phoenix players couldn't believe that save from Moramora. Selasenge ran up and almost mocked the jump. He stretched as far as he could to the upper corner, impressed with the moment. 66th minute, 2/3 of the way through this match. Phoenix Rising 0, El Paso Locomotive 0. Dennis this time from the other side, away from Moramora. Up for Asenge, bouncing about for Marboy, and just touched by Kofi Chumezi at the back post. And Moramora has it again. El Paso survived the flurry from Phoenix. DeRoma dictating. And back he goes for Coronado. A clean strike to the side on the right for Alvaro Quezada, the former Las Vegas Lights man, who scored a brace against Phoenix in 2022. 2 of his 6 professional goals. A danger man from outside the box. DeRoma on it. Turns back. Chumezi. Pressured by Darius Johnson. And long goes Chumezi. It will be recovered by Phoenix. Let's go back to that change. We haven't had a real chance to talk about it. Hope Aveyevu's been the everything man for Phoenix this year. The injury clearly playing a part in that substitution.
It's hard for Phoenix too because now there's no real creative midfielder on the pitch. Morsu is the closest thing that you got to it, and they have been working on his low-driven, impacted balls. But listen, this is a Hope Aveyevu-less pitch. They don't have all the creativity that they just did. They're going to have to find a goal in a much scrappier way. They think that throwing a true 9 out there like Remy Cabral is the goal scorer. That's how you open the account. Can they make up for the lack of creativity in the midfield? That's the question to solve now for Phoenix.
More work for Charlie Dennis to do?
Absolutely, and we've talked about how if you get him closer to goal, he can score more goals. Absolutely, but right now you might need an assist from Charlie Dennis.
Remy Cabral on the pitch, looking to find the goal off the bench for Phoenix Rising, who have the 3rd most goals from substitute players in the league this year. Only Louisville City and Loudoun United better. Both those teams lost in the first round of the playoffs tonight. Given away by Saint. High up the pitch, Moreno. Now he takes a touch backwards and is running forward, looking for Gabby Torres, cut out by Asenge. And now Dennis. Dennis in trouble. Back for Boy. Didn't check his shoulder. Morsu's on it. Good first touch from the Cameroonian. He finds his countryman Asenge. They navigate the traffic. And Eric Morsu is in. 4-on-4. Ball in the box. Darius Johnson's head just over the bar. Morsu opened his hips. Whipped one with the inside of his foot on a picture-perfect service. But Darius Johnson's header, not quite enough. Maybe just a little too tall for the Grenadian. And it's a goal kick in the 68th minute, still 0-0.
Remy Cabral was incensed that he wasn't the one to get the layoff pass. I don't think that it was the wrong choice to find Darius Johnson. He was crashing that back post. He had Moramora a little bit off his line, but most importantly, the service was perfect for Morsu. He found the ball, whipped it right to that back post, and Darius Johnson was probably an inch or two off of at least making it difficult for Sebastian between the sticks. Instead, it goes just up and over, and it stays 0-0, but what a piece of service for Morsu. So perfect.
That young man's a very good player. And Phoenix could be very lucky to have acquired him in the middle of the season. There was some talk that he may not be able to play in the postseason, might not meet the appearance requirements. Lee got away with that rule. Long throw in behind. Darius Johnson chasing, and he's ripped to the ground by Kofi Chumazi. Free kick Phoenix in the attacking third. Rising have ripped back some of the field tilt over the last 10 minutes. Picked the momentum back up in their favor in the second half.
A game like this is going to be won in the run of play, and sometimes you just have to withstand the punches coming your way, knowing that the game will break open for you if you let it come your way. Phoenix did just that. They defended hard enough, they got through a few dangerous corner kicks, and now they are the aggressors. They are throwing the punches. The question is, can you land a knockout right here? That is the differentiator.
Rising with a free kick. Scores gone final in New Mexico. New Mexico United advancing to the Western Conference semifinals. A 2-0 win over San Antonio. Phoenix, the final match on this Saturday in the playoffs. First round, Dennis serving, Moramora claiming. Out of the air went Sebastian Moramora, and he quickly releases for Gabriel Torres. Skipping a line for Amando Moreno. Rafael Chihus runs into him, wins the ball, stares at Moreno, and has given Phoenix a chance to progress again. 70th minute of a scoreless night in El Paso. We have seen 7 goals in this sequence over the course of the year come in the final 20-plus minutes of the match. These teams have met 3 times, scored 18 goals. Most of the time it's been on the chase. Phoenix down 4-1 in the 72nd minute at home, or on the road, I should say. Got a 4-4 draw. That was in March. El Paso down 3-0 in the final 20 minutes. A red card to a Phoenix player, a Senge late on. That meant all the good for El Paso, who scored 3 goals in the final 20 to draw 3-3 in Phoenix. Gabby Torres has been taken off the pitch. He was injured, could not compete any longer. So he will not score tonight. He scored in the prior 3 meetings between these two. Phoenix kicked it out of touch. The throw in for El Paso will go back to Rising. Calvillo, Moreno, and now a true number 9 maybe into this match in Beto Avila, or is that Christian Sorto? It is Beto Avila who will lead the line for Locomotive. Long goes Phoenix into the El Paso third. Down for Charlie Dennis, threads for Cabral, 1 touch back, Morsu on it, Morsu slaloming, Morsu still has it, Jean-Eric Morsu on the right side, wide it goes, Acela Senge steps on it, drops it back Dennis, Morsu, middle park Skiers, turns his head, looks left, pushes it wide, Darius Johnson's feet, faces up the defender, Quezada, DJ serving, challenge in the box, Dennis ripped to the ground, no foul. No foul, says the referee, Jeremy Shear. Charlie Dennis can't believe it. Out for an El Paso goal kick, 72nd. Didn't see too much of it. Looked like minimal contact. But still a shout for Phoenix late on in this match.
A little disappointed right now, Ryan. We talked about in the chess match, we talked about 2 teams feeling each other out, trying to find the pain points, the weaknesses. Instead, both in a scoreless competition have decided on one thing. We can't score, so we're going to put a striker on the field and try to find a goal through a striker. Wow. Riveting stuff, riveting.
It's like moving your queen into an advanced position.
Chills, Ryan, chills.
Moramora's on it. He's got the save of the night, the only shot on target for either team, the Charlie Dennis free kick. He goes long. It was a good save, to be fair. It was the save of the night. DeRoma turning, Skiers hurting him. Frank DeRoma finds a way through. Defense that was J.P. Skeers who grabbed him, then DeRoma came in late. This is a red card! Frank DeRoma puts 2 palms to his face and cannot believe it. 74th minute, J.P. Skeers grabbed the shirt of Frank DeRoma to deny the midfielder any progress, and DeRoma turned around and shoved Skeers. No doubt about it, Frank DeRoma is in a ball on the grass in the middle of the pitch. He cannot believe that moment.
Honestly, Brian, I can't believe it either. This is a game that has been allowed to be played so physically. They have been able to play into the game, and there have been hard fouls that aren't called, and there have been challenges that have been ruled play on, and the yellow card has stayed in the pocket time and time again. Yes, Frank DeRoma turns around and extends the hands, but I don't know in my head if that's just a direct red card. There was no doubt about it from Shearer. He ran out, he threw the red card, and it was over. Frank DeRoma will exit the pitch, and El Paso will play a man down.
And that's the thing for me, the referee so convinced right away.
Everything else has been methodical. It's been thought out. There's been a lot of crowd control. That, no doubt about it. The red card was out, and I mean, it came out, and you threw me to my chair, Brian. You threw me to my chair.
Frank DeRoma will walk past Pamadou Ka and be consoled by the Phoenix manager. J.P. Skeers was given a yellow for his action. That seems fair enough. He did pull the shirt, clear-cut yellow. We're getting a second look at it on the Jumbotron. We didn't get a second look, really. We got a look at the Skeers yellow card, but not the challenge from DeRoma, and it didn't look as clear-cut of a challenge from Frank DeRoma as I once thought.
That was great stuff from the video board guy. Fantastic crowd control for the fans.
He knows how to keep a crowd.
Absolutely no clue what came after the challenge, but man, that is absolutely a foul on J.P. Skeers. Who knows what happened 10 seconds after that? I'm not too sure.
Ricky Ruiz has the ball. El Paso Locomotive are down a man in a 0-0 match in the second half. Ryan Flood has picked up a 50-50. Remy Cabral has knotted it along in the attacking third for Charlie Dennis. Cabral is chasing. He was offside. He just was about an inch behind the defensive effort of Tony Alfaro. Free kick El Paso, a quarter of an hour plus injury time to go, and a second look, and it's not the elbow because he whiffs on the elbow, but then after the elbow, Kevin, it's a full extension shove well after the play is dead. El Paso are coming forward with Beto Avila's shot. It is saved by Rakowski, the first of the night for El Paso, stopped by Phoenix's German goalkeeper in the 76th.
That just looked like a get-off-of-me shove to me, right? Not to go back to the red card, but that's going to be the theme of the night now, especially in the second half. To me, it looks like an extension of the arms in a get-off-of-me way, because he just got fouled. He got dragged down to the run of play. And, yeah, I don't blame Frank for being a little upset. That's a little shocking to me as well.
Carl Saint takes a touch in his own box under heavy pressure. Turns out of trouble and has it with Phoenix, who are up a man. Final 14 minutes of this regular time. We will play 90 minutes at the end of it. If it's still scoreless or level, we will go to 30 minutes of extra time, and after that, if it's still tied, which it usually is after extra time, penalty kicks. Phoenix, unless they get a man sent off, will have all of that, about 45 minutes, a full half of football, with a man advantage on the road in El Paso. By the way, we love that you're with us tonight, but I think Shohei Ohtani is going to be up with a chance to tie the game in Game 7 of a World Series. So turn the TV on, watch that, listen to us.
Sorry, Ryan, but nothing compares to Charlie Dennis playing soccer, especially on a beautiful Saturday night.
Ricky Ruiz is on it. It is a beautiful Saturday night. Under 70 degrees in El Paso. Perfect postseason weather, just shy of all the hotels in downtown El Paso.
Not many of them. Not as many as you'd expect.
There's like 5 that are within walking distance.
And then there's no more.
1, 2, 3, 4, might be 6. I know you want to say it, Kevin. Go ahead.
I'm keeping it in the pocket.
More Seuss on it. 78th. How much will Phoenix have the ball in the final 10 minutes?
You'd hope more than they did. They're going into this, I think it was at about 33% before the red card came out of the pocket. Now that number is going to climb up very fast, as El Paso is probably going to do one thing: sit on their heels and defend, because there's still a way to win this game. It's 0-0. They're not chasing. They're not looking for a goal. They need to find a way to dig in and either survive and get a goal on the counter or survive and win in a penalty shootout. This game is not done. It is not going to be easy for Phoenix Rising.
Long ball over the top. Darius Johnson was offside. Paso, indirect free kick in their own half, and you get the sense as well for Locomotive, will they sit and defend? Sure, every chance they get in a stoppage of play, 10 to 20 seconds will come off the clock. Wilmer Cabrera has beaten Phoenix Rising in the postseason as the manager of RGV Toros. He's the manager tonight of El Paso Locomotive. It was 2021, the last home match that Phoenix Rising has played in the playoffs, in a penalty shootout. Phoenix lost to RGV in a shootout. Forward comes El Paso, ran into Morsu. Still on his feet is Avila. Darting down is Moreno, he's offside. Flag came up quickly. Joe Sikoski, quick to recognize the moment. Better yet, I think Otani's going to come to the plate with potentially 2 outs. How can you not be romantic about soccer, Kevin?
It's impossible to not be.
Shios on the ball for Phoenix. He's my Otani. Saint,
really?
Morsu. Pop Marboy, the captain, the youngest in the league this year, looking to become Phoenix's second captain to lift a trophy. The other in the technical area for Rising tonight, Darnell King, the assistant coach. Rafa Shihus, JP Skiers. Rising just waiting for its moment, and maybe they have it here. Shihus lifting long, too heavily hit, and Mora will collect it and sit on it and wait for Remy Cabral to join him in the 6. Alfaro on it now for El Paso in his own box. Skipped a line. Avila got a body in the back. No foul, says the referee. Phoenix will take advantage of it. Dennis just outside the box. Slipped in for Remy Cabral. He went for goal. He was closer to the end line than he should have been. And Remy Cabral, who probably could have played that one back across the frame, shot it instead. And it's a goal kick in the 81st for El Paso, Kevin.
It's frustrating for Phoenix because Remy has been the guy who has been complaining about not receiving that service in the center of the box, asking for the ball when he's the one making the run. He takes a negative angle shot there. Mora has it completely closed off on the near post, and he skies one into the westbank.com little floating ad above it. It hit that board. Who knows when the last time that happened was, but it's just tough.
Rojas just hit a home run. Otani can have a go-ahead home run in the World Series Game 7, top of the 9th.
Got Joe Davis to my right over here.
Skiers is on it. I wish. I'm glad I'm here. Morsu, cut out by Coronado. Morsu made sure it wasn't going to go much further than that. Should be a yellow card for the Cameroonian. Both these teams were in the 82nd minute of a playoff match, Kevin. Both these teams have made one change. They are thinking about this match long term with potentially still 40 minutes to go.
I mean, this game is essentially in the top of the 9th here. You are in the 82nd minute. You're going to head towards the bottom of the 9th in just a moment, but you have so much extra time coming, and the important differentiator is that it's not sudden death in extra time when it comes to the playoffs. They will play a full 30-minute block, and both teams know that. El Paso still probably going to sit if we get to that point. Phoenix has the extra man, and they have a very professional bench tonight. Jamison Ping and Pierce Rizzo, the only two. Well, Jamison Ping is a pro. Pierce Rizzo, the only non-pro on the bench. They have options to go for, a lot of attacking options. Isan Sacco still waiting in his warm-ups. They can find a way to get a goal. El Paso has to think about this one methodically, and can we get to that point?
El Paso gave it away on the free kick. Ball in behind. Mora has it. Cabral would have been offside. 83rd. Was a big point of discussion this week. That's a foul on Asenge as he came through the back of Ricky Ruiz. Free kick Locomotive in the attacking half. Big point of discussion this week on Backhill.com and John Morrissey, this league podcast. Phoenix having more depth than El Paso. deeper bench, a deeper squad this time of the year is really valuable. That was what carried Phoenix to a title in 2023.
Who would have thought, with the way the team was constructed about 3 months ago, this is a completely new luxury for Phoenix.
Paso plays short. Ricky Ruiz and the captain Calvillo, a member of the last place team in the Western Conference a year ago. Ricky Ruiz was a midseason acquisition to that group. Calvillo, Coronado, switching play for Alvaro Quezada. One-on-one with Ryan Flood. Quezada to the byline, touched by Pop Marboy, and cleared by Jean-Eric Morceau. Phoenix will step up, a man advantage for Rising, thanks to a red card on a shove after the play from El Paso midfielder Frank DeRoma in the 73rd. Rising win it high. Cabral launching wide. Charlie Dennis will just about keep it in touch by the right touchline. He runs to the corner and has won a throw in for Phoenix in the attacking third in the 84th minute of a playoff match on the road in El Paso. 0-0. Rising will keep it. The captain boy, the central center back Saint, the Cameroonian Jean-Eric Morceau, who has been just as good as you'd expect him to be tonight. Line skipping ball from Saint, looking for a Senge, feet of Cabral, well defended by Chumazi. Cleared by El Paso, through the legs of Skeers, long from Calvillo, no run from Cabrera, and Phoenix getting set to make its second change. It will be Isan Nino Sacco, the Rising number 9, who has become a consistent substitute for Phoenix over the last month. Dennis, a Senge, attacking third, off the hand, and a penalty! It struck the hand of an El Paso defender and has silenced Southwest University Park. A cross wide from Phoenix strikes the elbow of an El Paso defender. And in the 85th minute, Phoenix Rising has won a penalty kick right at the end of this match.
Shocking. A red card, now a penalty on a handball. We're seeing everything, and finally the cards start to fall Phoenix's way. It's Remy Cabral to stand near the spot. What an opportunity for Phoenix, and what a chance for Remy Cabral.
Cabral is standing over it. Charlie Dennis, I believe, has ripped it off of Phoenix's striker. The left foot of the Englishman in the 86th minute. Sebastian Moramora is the better of the two goalkeepers against penalties for El Paso. Saved 4 of the 11 faced in his career. Charlie Dennis will take it for Phoenix Rising. He has scored his last 5, mostly low and up the middle. 86th minute, first round of the playoffs. Phoenix Rising 12 yards out with Charlie Dennis looking to take the Phoenicians to the promised land on the road in El Paso. A whistle from Jeremy Shear, and the left foot of Charlie Dennis strikes the bottom corner and silences this El Paso crowd on the road. Phoenix Rising 1, El Paso Locomotive 0. It's another goal for Phoenix's now leading goal scorer, Charlie Dennis. And Rising are 4 minutes in stoppage time away from a Western Conference semifinal berth. A stunned Southwest University Park, Kevin Cardez.
Perfect from Charlie Dennis. You couldn't ask for a better penalty from the boy from Brighton. Everything riding on that foot, and he converts. Phoenix goes up a goal. It's special. And finally, Phoenix has found a way to break through. You're looking at 5 minutes left in the game, and now you need to find a way to navigate this. A little bit of stoppage time, and El Paso is on the back foot as well as a man down.
Where would Phoenix Rising be without Charlie Dennis in 2025? What a superstar the Englishman has been in the back half of the season for Phoenix. That's his 6th goal contribution in the last 7 matches for Phoenix Rising. Dennis has won it back, and Skeers has claimed it, and a Senge is on it, and Rising lose out to Ricky Ruiz. Up a man for Phoenix, Bento Avila, and then Jean Morceau. Isan Sacco's come into the game and stretch the ball to the feet of Remy Cabral, who will take a touch inward and look to serve to the top for Dennis, cleared away by El Paso, only as far as Asenge. 88th minute, Cabral onside, Remy, back post, overhit for Sacco. Will be kept in touch by Phoenix Rising in the attacking third. Flood, Sacco by the byline, stinging low, falls for Cabral, save Muramura. Asenge, Cabral, he's offside! He may not have been, but the flag has come up anyway. And El Paso has restarted play quickly. And now the referee will stop play. And he's given a yellow card to Isan Sacco, who thwarted the attack of El Paso Locomotive. That was tight for Phoenix's second. Remy Cabral was a moment away from doubling the lead, Kev.
Second time in the last 3 games in which a referee has called the goal offsides from a pass that happened basically parallel with the end line. Phoenix getting out of that one with none of the benefits.
Cabral, Sacco the substitute, into the area, defended by El Paso, goal kick. Locomotive, last touched off Isan Sacco. 89th minute, 1-0 Phoenix. So close to a second for Rising, but instead they cling to a 1-goal lead. Big changes late. Frank Lopez has come on. Alvaro Quesada has come off. And they have brought in Memo Diaz late, the native El Pasan. Robert Coronado exits for the number 9 Lopez, a big hold-up body for Beto Avila and Amando Moreno to play against. 3 consecutive clean sheets for Phoenix Rising to end the regular season, and on track for a 4th as it stands with a minute left in the regular 90. 50-50 Morsu has it for Phoenix. And now Flood, and down the line for Morsu, stretching the legs, the young man. He's won it fairly. He's got Sacco at the top of the box. Charlie Dennis was there after a poor touch from Sacco. El Paso will race on the counter. It's Lopez. No, he whiffed. And now Saint. He's played it poorly. Moreno crossing. Moreno running. Moreno unable to stretch. Out of touch. Rising goal kick. 30 seconds to the 90.
All eyes on the touchline now, looking at the board, seeing how much stoppage time we have left in this game. I can't tell if it's going to be a lot or a little. It feels like there's been a lot of small stoppages. You have to wonder how many checks and how many stops went to the watch of Shearer, but we're going to get the answer in a moment. Phoenix needs to hold strong and find a way to close this one down. So close to the end goal, Ryan.
Everybody's eyes roll to the body of the 4th official, Rodrigo Albuquerque, who will hold up the sign and signal the stoppage for the rest of the second half. He flashes 8 minutes. 8 minutes of stoppage time. The penalty, sure. The red card, yes. 8's a lot. And Phoenix will have to hang on for 8 more minutes on the road in El Paso up a man.
It was so hard to tell what was on the way, Ryan, because the red card came out, but the red card felt like just about 2 minutes, and there were a few ticky-tack fouls that accumulated in some stoppage for the physios. 8 minutes. You have a lot of game left to play. It is far from over.
A trip to Tulsa on the line for the winner. Right now it's Phoenix Rising, who have fared well against the Scissortails in 2025. Phoenix, the fancy pick amongst many in the West to make a run. Middle Park Avila, challenged by Skeers Fairley, Morsu, and then Dennis. And Rising will run forward. Remy Cabral supports Charlie Dennis, and a foul on Wilmer Cabrera Jr. that will give Phoenix a free kick. And watch the clock go tick, tick, tick in the second half stoppage time. Phoenix Rising 1, El Paso Locomotive 0. 90 seconds beyond 90 minutes. Still 6.5 minutes to play. Southwest University Park has been a sore sight for Phoenix Rising this year. 2 draws. A series that has seen late goals on both sides. El Paso, a 99th minute equalizer in the prior meeting in Phoenix. Given away by Rising. Frank Lopez into the box. Amando Moreno saved by Rakowski. Amando Moreno darted across the box, back post to near, and got just a whiff of the ball before it rolled tamely into the hands of Pat Rakowski. Save for Phoenix, still 1-0. Asenge stripped of it. Calvillo's found Ricky Ruiz, who's been blocked by Pop Marboy. In the corner it goes. Ruiz struggling for space, looking past Asenge. That ball is out of touch for a corner kick. 93rd, 1-0.
Got to dig deep if you're Phoenix. You can
Ball
only say
comes
so many
in
times.
off the backside of Lopez. Heavy challenge, no foul. It's in fact going to go against El Paso. A late whistle from Jeremy Shear. He's looking for a ball. Charlie Dennis is coming off, and he has been told to walk off the far side. Noble Okello will bring all 6'5" of his frame into the match. Can you tell they love Charlie Dennis? Number 12 on his back, he points to it. The difference for Phoenix. A penalty kick in the final 5 minutes of the 90. And Jean Morceau has come out, no, just receiving instruction. Okello and Skeers and Morceau. Right now, Phoenix with 7 players, if you don't count the goalkeeper, on the field, 6 foot or taller to close this one out in the 94th minute, 1-0 lead.
Just got to find a way to survive what comes from El Paso. They are going to fight for their lives. Everything on the line for Locomotive in these last 4 or 5 minutes. Phoenix has to dig deep, find a way to defend through whatever onslaught gets thrown their way, and it stops and starts with Noble Okello through the middle. He's had his moments of brilliance in 2025. He's had his moments where it slipped in 2025. He is the late sub for Charlie Dennis, which signals to me we're not going to push for that second goal anymore. We're going to find a way to survive with this goal that we have right now and advance into the semifinals.
A red card from Frank DeRoma in the 73rd maybe just changed the course of this tie. El Paso had been strong. Phoenix had been finding its footing. Remy Cabral has fouled an El Paso Locomotive player who's down on the ground. 95th minute. Charlie Dennis from 12 yards out. A penalty kick, his 8th goal of the year. And right now it has Phoenix Rising booking flights to Tulsa next weekend to take on the top team in the Western Conference. Long stoppage that will surely get added on to the clock here for a clearly very injured El Paso player. Wilmer Cabrera is arguing for a yellow card to at least be given out there. It's Phoenix Rising. You can't put anything out of the books yet. They've had so many moments this season. Scoring goals late on, conceding goals late on. And long 10 to what I would imagine here is Memo Diaz.
We're going to play well into the 100th minute tonight.
Yes, we are. Physio staff is out there for El Paso. It's Cody Simmons and Sarai Costa.
This has been a toughly played game, Ryan. I think that if we remember this one for anything besides the penalty being put in from Charlie Dennis on just one of the all-time heaters for the club, it's that this was a game that was played very physically from first minute into the 100th. It has never stopped, and the referees have allowed them to play a very tough style of soccer. Whoever ends up walking out of this one, advancing into the next round, will walk out with scrapes, cuts, and blood, but also well deserving it.
With that in mind, a paper-popping stat, a stat that matters. Phoenix Rising has won 80% of the aerial duels in this match tonight between two teams that love to be direct and dominant in the air. Phoenix Rising has held control. El Paso will make a change. Diaz, who was substituted into the match, has been taken off. Emiliano Rodriguez, the young forward and academy graduate, 21 years of age, has come in to try and score late. 97th minute. We will probably get to about the 101st in this one. Shihas down, Okello launching straight skyward. Skeers challenged, he won the header though. Sacco looking, driving down the left side, keeping it himself as he takes it to the corner. Isan Sacco out of touch, no foul, throwing El Paso. 1-0 Phoenix.
Good work from Nino there to get down the touchline as far as possible, get the ball dumped into the corner, and let El Paso dictate the game, but they have to start from their own third.
Phoenix Rising lost at this phase a year ago as the 8th seed in Albuquerque. They led in the second half, but could not seal the deal on the road in the playoffs. Looking to do it tonight for a side that has spent the entire year following two words: trust and process. They have trusted in each other. They have trusted in the moment. They have trusted in the magic of this club. And their process may finally pay off in the first round of the postseason tonight. 98th minute, Sacco stretching long. Cabral may have been offside. Moramora claimed it high, and Ricky Ruiz is on it, slinging a ball from left to right. Off the head of Rodriguez. 50-50 won by Skierce in the 98th minute. Stoppage time has progressed to its minimum. JP Skierce ranging forward. He's taken off the ball fairly by Tony Alfaro. Other way, El Paso at midfield. A long switch of play. Acela Senge strips it out of the sky. And the Cameroonian will take it forward before a stoppage of play that Phoenix will not complain about. Tony Alfaro is down and struggling, and maybe more seconds added in this one. 99th minute. We could get to the 102nd of a playoff match for a spot in the conference semifinals and the final 8 playing soccer in the USL Championship in 2025 on the line.
Who knows when this game is going to end, because now the physio is making the run for Alfaro. I have no idea of when this watch is going to run out of time, but there's more and more being added on. El Paso has time to figure their stuff out when it comes to just getting the ball to where it needs to be. Alfaro's going to hobble off the pitch at the discretion of Shearer, so now the game's going to restart fairly quickly. We'll see when the game does finally end, but Phoenix so close, El Paso on the brink. Who will walk out victorious? Rising so close.
Phoenix Rising team unbeaten in all but one of its last 11 matches. Have taken great form into the playoffs as a popular pick across the land of championship experts. Many thinking this Phoenix team has found the right formula at the right time between attacking flair, difference makers, and defensive integrity. Right now, a clean sheet for Phoenix. Cabral flicks for Akello. Noble Akello crossing in the box and has won a corner kick for Phoenix Rising in the 100th minute. 1-0 Phoenix Rising. Maybe 60 seconds to play, maybe slightly more. Phoenix will surely keep this in the corner and look for its 4th consecutive clean sheet. Phoenix Rising, once the class of this conference, the superior side in the USL from the late 2010s to the early 2020s. They fell on hard times in 2022, rose from the ashes in 2023, struggled in 2024, and are looking to do the same this season. Frank Lopez on the ball for El Paso, fouled by Pop Marboy, and Rising will race back defensively as El Paso play quickly. Rodriguez short, Alfaro's on it, Kofi Chumazi. Wide he looks in the 101st, slipping underneath, a great bit of skill, and here come the Locos, crossing into the box, no runners there. Rakowski has to leave it. Senge thumps it off of a El Paso defender. Throw in Phoenix, 102nd minute, 1-0 Rising lead. An 86th minute goal from Charlie Dennis on the road. A penalty kick that put Rising in front as they look to see it out. Cabral flicks along, rolls out of touch. El Paso with maybe one last chance. Pamadou Ka not talking to an official, but urging his team to fight, fight, and fight as they have done throughout the duration of this season, saying his side never give up. And they have not over the course of this season. Ricky Ruiz long, trying to lump it forward. Ryan Flood wins the header, out for an El Paso throw in the attacking third. Probably 30 seconds, probably the final passage of the game. Chumazi, Rodriguez, looking for room, flicked through Calvillo, throw in Phoenix Rising, and all eyes to Jeremy Shear, the referee. 12 minutes past the 90. Phoenix Rising, a throw in for Ryan Flood on the far side. He launches forward. Chumazi wins it for Locomotive. Up for Akello, who's won the header. Chumazi again, JP Skierce, Remy Cabral stepping forward, looking for support, taken off of it, and it'll fall for Sebastian Moramora Still we play on in the 103rd minute. Rising 1-0. Ryan Flood out of touch, and we continue. Every time the game stops, every time we look to the ref. Middle Park Calvia, the captain, the 4-seed El Paso. Won by Asenge, and now Akello, a whistle, and there's 2 more! Phoenix Rising have trusted the process and put themselves a win away from a Western Conference semifinal. It'll be Tulsa in the second weekend of November for Phoenix Rising. A win on the road in El Paso. 1-0 Phoenix, your final score. Rising's playoff push will continue, and the season will stroll on to game number 38, Kevin Cardez.
It was unmatched faith. It was passion from the first week when Pamunuka entered the building, and it was an unwavering notion that no team was too tall for Phoenix Rising this season. They played against the best team in the league in Lou, and they walked in thinking that they could get it done. And although the result didn't fall their way that day, that mentality carried for every game before and every game after. And whether it was a tie or a loss or a win like tonight, they always felt like there was a true opportunity and a chance for them to win any game that they marched into. They didn't host tonight, and they won't host next week, but it didn't matter. And Pamunuka has officially inspired his side to the first playoff win since they lifted the title in 2023. They have done what looked unthinkable 2 months ago, and they'll march to Tulsa with a chance to go to a conference final.
Phoenix has done it in front of a surging section of away support 6.5 hours east of the Valley. A traveling group just shy of 100 has seen its side win 1-0 on the road in El Paso, a 6th consecutive road game for Phoenix in the playoffs, and somehow magically, miraculously, a 5th win in those 6, Kevin. Phoenix Rising will move on. Charlie Dennis's penalty in the 86th minute, the difference between El Paso. A 73rd minute red card from Frank DeRoma gave Phoenix the advantage they needed. We will break it down in the post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House as Phoenix Rising beat El Paso Locomotive 1-0 on the road in West Texas. More to come from Southwest University Park on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
This is a true cruise in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Each day at work just dragging on. Get your sports fix on the lunch break. Join Chris Schubert and producer Evan live as they give their local perspective on the world of sports. Baseball, football, and basketball. Everything has a home on their plate. It's The Lunch Break with Chris Schubert, live Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060, on the KDUS 1060 app, and KDUS 1060 on YouTube.
Buying a house can seem almost impossible, especially today. But with the right agent in your corner, it makes the challenge seem effortless. Hi, I'm Connor Cochran with Good Oak Real Estate, your go-to agent in the Valley. Whether you're buying, selling, or investing, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Because finding the perfect home shouldn't be stressful, it should be exciting. Call 480-688-3200 today. Again, that's 480-688-3200. Let's have the conversation.
Hey Phoenix Rising fans, this is Discount Tire, your hometown tire retailer and trusted partner on the road for over 65 years. We know it can be overwhelming when buying tires, but we're here to help. Our online tire buying guide, Treadwell, makes finding the right tires simple. Just plug in your vehicle, location, and driving habits, and Treadwell will give you unbiased, personalized recommendations based on your needs, not based on price. Inviting, easy, and safe. Just how tire buying should be. Shop tires with Treadwell at discounttire.com. Let's get you taken care of.
Time for one last kick of the ball on tonight's match. It's Rising Radio postgame wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
Spectacular road win in El Paso for Phoenix Rising. On the 1st of November, Phoenix Rising find a way to win 1-0 on the road against El Paso Locomotive in West Texas. And with that win, Phoenix Rising earned the right to play one more match in the USL Championship season. A 1-0 win thanks to a Charlie Dennis 86th minute penalty kick, aided by a 73rd minute red card from Frank DeRoma. Ryan Sikora here with you for the post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House. Kevin Cardez alongside me. Mahirsan Hassan will join us in a moment on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. That was everything Phoenix has talked about all year. The game in itself was a process. It was patience personified right in front of our very eyes as Phoenix Rising book a ticket to Tulsa and a Western Conference semifinal against the #1 seed in the West.
It was crazy in a strategic way. The first half was so very obviously a feel-out period. Two teams that know that they can get the better of the other side as long as they find their moment. The second half, El Paso came out lit on fire, and they were the aggressors for the first 15 to even 20 minutes. And then Phoenix found their footing. The red card comes out of the pocket. Charlie Dennis converts a penalty from the spot after a handball call, and everything started to fall the way of Phoenix because they stuck to the plan and they learned how to reward themselves. I really like that wording from Brandon earlier this night. They found how to win, but they also found out how to reward themselves at the end when the clock is drinking on and you have realized that we are going to play much further than just 8 minutes of extra time. The clock keeps going. We hit 100, we hit 101, we hit 102, and the plan stayed the same. They found out how to win, they learned how to reward themselves, and at the end of it all, the most up and down season that I've experienced doing this, they have found a way to win a playoff game, and it feels tangible.
Pamadou Ka told the media this week that these are the games you want to play. He told them, if you're ready for the moment, you don't feel pressure as well. And tonight we saw a Phoenix team that looked level-headed, a far cry from the faces we saw in the middle of the summer, in the middle of the season. Phoenix Rising has found its footing, and it's found it very clearly, Kevin, at the right time when you want to peak and put yourself in position to lift the Big Ear Trophy at the end of November.
I mean, they lit themselves on fire when they needed to. They looked from within during hard parts of the season where you're drawing every game. It feels like that coming your way. They couldn't win at home for a long time. They couldn't find that first win for a while. And then they strung together a few wins in the middle of the season. Then it all fell apart after a Texoma game that felt like a true clash. And then the Battery put them down 4-1. It never felt certain until the end. And then momentum became memorable and momentum became a mainstay. That was the difference. And they found a way to march into the second round of the playoffs. It just felt real, Ryan. It felt real.
Before we step aside in segment number one, I want to get your pulse on the two pressure points from this match. Frank DeRoma's red card, 60-40, red card yes, red card no, sure. That one first, and then Charlie Dennis, the man of the moment. But start with the red card that set up the back half of this match for Phoenix.
Listen, the red card obviously is the tilt to the game. When you start to play a man up in a game like this where it's 0-0 and it's cagey and you're punching, and the entire time you and I are talking about, okay, we're going to think about extra time here because obviously neither team is going to crack this one open. And then the card comes out of the pocket. Hard to tell if that was a super fair red card or not, but regardless of what it was a very clear-cut and quick decision from Jeremy Shearer, which is the difference between everything else. The entire game, he's thinking, he's planning. It's strategic refereeing to keep the emotions in a game that was played so physical as low as he could. But the second he saw that challenge from DeRoma, the red card flew out of the pocket. Then it flipped. Charlie Dennis at the spot after the handball call. It was a perfect penalty from the boy who has been so perfect for the last 2 months. Where would this team be without Charlie Dennis? He started this season in a boot. He ends it from the spot tonight. It was perfect from Charlie. It was perfect from Phoenix, and they found a way to turn momentum their way when the game played into their hand. They didn't force it. The game came to them. They grabbed the rope, and they pulled it. They won tug of war tonight.
Since the start of July, Charlie Dennis has 13 goal involvements in 19 matches. When it matters most, the Englishman has made it his moment for Phoenix Rising. We'll bring Mahir Sinhasan in at the other end of this break after this to talk just about Charlie Dennis and his moment and the moment in the crowd with Phoenix Rising and its traveling support. Rising 1-0 on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. This is the post-game wrap-up presented by Crown Public House.
Suzuchuku's in. Arteaga!
You're listening to Rising Radio, home of the 2023 USL champions.
Bliss and a burst of red smoke. Phoenix Rising, our home. Welcome to 38th and Washington.
Stick around for more as our broadcast continues.
Join in on the Sports Zoo on your ride home from work with Dave Rooster Bierstein. Join Rooster as he lays down what's happening around sports and makes it clear what's on his mind.
Oh my.
Catch the day's craziest stories and some of the latest numbers from the sports books across the valley. The Sports Zoo with Dave Rooster Bierstein.
Yeah, I think that's kind of a wild option.
Weekdays 5 to 6 p.m. on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app. Attention all clones. The Jim Rome Show is here for you every day here on KDUS AM 1060.
Lots to get done. Welcome to the program.
Listen in as Rome dives into the biggest sports headlines of the day. From final scores, player contracts and trades, team prospects, and even a spicy take or two. The Jim Rome Show, 1 to 4 p.m. every weekday here on KDUS AM 1060.
That's the trick.
Online at KDUS1060.com and on the KDUS 1060 app. James Out West, your home for sports down here in the desert. Join James and Pat the Stat Guy as they recap the weekend and dive deep into the numbers for the NFL, NBA, college sports, and more.
That's 5 seasons of 1,200 yards.
Player stats, team numbers, and contracts are just the start of the discussion for James and Pat.
He started 815 career games. He threw 749 complete games.
There's no hiding when it comes to stats. It's James Out West every Monday night from 7 to 8 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and on the KDUS 1060 app.
This is the Rising Radio post-game wrap-up on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.
The sounds of a sigh that fall on this first match of the postseason for Phoenix Rising and El Paso Locomotive. An eerie silence laying across a music-filled Southwest University Park where Phoenix Rising We're the side that celebrated tonight on the road in West Texas. A 1-0 win over El Paso Locomotive, your final score on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network. We were detached, I would say, up here in the gantry, Kevin Cardez, a little bit away from the celebration. That's why we have Mihir Sinhasan here, to make the legs and do the running and find the moments and meet the eyes of he. Mihir, you were right amongst it. What did you see in the embrace between the side in red and its support tonight?
You know, when you're in a moment like this, Ryan, it's all about the joy and the elation that you see. I see resurgence out of this Phoenix Rising side. The one moment I thought about was July 19, 2024, the first home game for then interim head coach Diego Gomez against this El Paso Locomotive side. And the one thing in that moment, when Rising celebrated with the Banditos, they were jumping around. They were going towards them, having fun. And that's something you want to see out of a soccer club. That's something you want to see out of a team in general. I think when you bring this into consideration, this is a playoff game on the road. The same point where Phoenix Rising fell last year. This is the resurgence that Phoenix Rising needed under Pamadou Ka. This is the type of resurgence that gives Phoenix some success overall. Charlie Dennis said in the post-game presser, these are the games you live for. Fans packed out. They're screaming your name. When you're a visiting, player, it's usually not in a good way.
No.
But when you're in that type of moment, you feed off the energy. When the energy goes towards the men in red, your fans in red, that works so great, and it's just so passionate overall. The one other thing I saw in that celebration too, Ryan, was it was tied around Pamadou Ka, but it was also tied to the fans. Yeah. They wanted the fans to celebrate with them in this moment. They made the trip out here. Pop Marboy talked about it earlier this week, that there were a few fans that made the trip to Pittsburgh. They were able to be comfortable. They were really, excited to be there. And Pop recognized that, and he said, this is what fans are. We have to show them our support as well, and that's what Rising did tonight.
Mihir, thank you. Kevin, to you, and I want to say this about Mihir's full circle coverage there. The word that stands out is resurgence. I think that's probably the best way to put this last month from Phoenix Rising, where they've found both their footing from an emotional perspective, but also from a tactical perspective, and it's all encompassed over the last 4 matches.
They have found their identity on the pitch in a lot of ways. It's a team that we have marked time and time again, the youngest team in the USL Championship, led by a few veterans, 2 primarily from the German Bundesliga who have played at some of the highest heights. Isan Sako, who played in Ligue 1 over in France. They have played instrumental parts in leading one of the youngest teams to play championship ball. Resurgence in the form of finding themselves. We've seen this team win 4 games in a row in 2025, and it felt like they could have strung that together into something. They were almost the first place team in the Western Conference at the midway point of the season, and then it kind of fell apart because when you don't have an identity to adhere to, when you don't have something that you stick to game in and game out, when that takes into account tactical tweaks and things that you change to get the upper hand on an opponent that might have your number. But having something that you adhere to week in and week out is something that you can't replace. And over the last month, they have found a way to become a cool, calm, collected team of young talent and leadership presences that have come together in an amalgamation that wins and gets results. And when it comes down to it, they found a way to get it done on the road and win a playoff game. They couldn't get it done last year, and they found it in 2025. Special and resurgent. I like what Mihir said.
Gabby Torres, the last to leave the pitch of all the players, the former Phoenix Rising man who left for El Paso in the offseason. Phoenix Rising 1, El Paso Locomotive 0. A moment of magic laid on for Phoenix. A moment maybe spurred by a sheer bit of luck in some moments that went Rising's way. There have been some of those this year. There have been some that have gone against. Kevin, the final word, I think, from you in preparation for another week of Phoenix Rising football on the road again in the playoffs, traveling to #1 Tulsa. We've been here before, dare I say.
Yeah, we have. And we traveled and we played the #1 team in the Western Conference last year, and we lost, but they were close. And we talked about it. They were up in the second half. I think, Ryan, that I feel very happy that we get to see another game in 2025, because one of the best and sometimes worst parts of a league like the USL Championship, you never know who's going to be back the next season. And this is a group that very obviously has something a little special, and if it catches fire, it's not hard to see them going far. And I'm also happy to spend another game with you, so let's do one more.
That means just so much to me. We're still waiting on the expected kickoff next week. I would imagine it's a Saturday match in Tulsa to take on the Scissor Tails, the #1 team in the Western Conference, who Phoenix Rising have played thrice, drawn twice, lost all the way back on match day 1 of the year at home. It could be a full circle moment for Phoenix Rising, who win 1-0 tonight against El Paso Locomotive. Dare I say a defensive duel between two teams who have played just about every moment of the season against each other on a absolute torrent. That's the score tonight, and I will sign off before my voice bids you adieu. Phoenix Rising 1, El Paso Locomotive 0 on the Rising Radio Network. For Kevin Cardez, for Mahir Sinhasan, for our engineer Sammy O'Brien, for our technical director back in studio Chris Schubert, I've been Ryan Sakura saying so long, but we will see you again next week in Tulsa as Phoenix Rising's postseason push persists into Oklahoma next weekend. Phoenix Rising 1, El Paso Locomotive 0 on the Phoenix Rising Radio Network.